On the off chance that you aren't familiar with me, I genuinely have no idea how you got here. This feels about as self-indulgent and niche as it gets, but I appreciate you being here. I'm Cosmic Void. I tend to focus on video essays. The very first video essay that I made that saw any real success and what I consider to be representative of the work that I try and do was this. An analysis of Big D from Hunter the Parenting. It was made by Ogre Papanung after their previous show, If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, got nuked due to Games Workshop being Games Workshop and enacting a scorched earth policy on fan content. Hunter the Parenting is based on World of Darkness, specifically old World of Darkness, your Vampire the Masquerades, your Werewolf the Apocalypses, your Hunter the Reckonings, and so on and so forth. And I have become a smidge, slightly enormously obsessed with the setting. I adore D. Immediate first impressions of this character are that he's completely insane, but with enough skill and knowledge that he's managed to survive for this long. Look at him basically any level deeper than that though, and you quickly discover that there's a lot more to him than that. His insanity is in large part a mask both to fool enemy and ally alike. He hides his knowledge because he knows what the risks inherent with leaking are. He understands the people around him, and how they work and what they'd be most likely to do in certain situations, while also having a major paranoid streak that impacts how he thinks and what he does. It was also the first video that I ever made that prompted someone to make a reaction to it. A channel called Airier watched it. This was a channel I actually knew about and had watched a bit. I even included them in the video itself. Anyway, long story short, now we play Mage of the Ascension together. And I know he's watching this, and if Ash does one more stupid thing, Airier, so help me God, man, I'm going to have Ingvar's tear apart your accursed luck mage with a battle axe blessed by Thor and Loki both! Anyway, it's been a long time since I saw either of those videos, and I thought that since I'm doing reactions now, I suppose, I figured, what the hell, maybe I should watch that and react to it. Maybe it'd be interesting to see how the old video holds up and see what Airier's thoughts are, and now I can challenge them. And then we can get him reacting to me or reacting to him, reacting to my video, and just create an infinite mine of content. Sounds like a terrible idea, but I'm doing it anyway. Let's crack on. Oh god, it's a horrible demon monster. Oh no, it's Airier. Oh god, it's Airier. No. Okay, so I'm pretty confident in the intro I will have explained my history with this guy, but to make a long story short, I watched him for a bit, I made my Big D video, he reacted to that, I watched the reaction, good time was had by all, and now we run in a couple of Mage the Ascension games together, where he does everything in his power to infuriate me because his characters will not explain even the most basic, rudimentary bits of information. So I think the next time I have a session with him, I'm just going to hold an axe to his throat. I think that that'll solve all of those problems. But anyway, it's been a while since I watched my Big D video, which I think is probably one of my better videos, truth be told. It's been a while since I watched this reaction, and I thought it might be fun to have a bit of a look back on that. I can react to what he has to say, because I do remember having a couple of thoughts on his reaction the first time I watched it. But I've also kind of forgotten a lot of it, so I think that this could be fun. So let's all be prepared to bully the man. Is the point I'm making here? All right, let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're looking at analysis of Big D from Hunter the Parenting.
Can't hear a word of it. Hang on. Oh, that'll do it. I haven't got the sound on. Whoops.
Hi everyone, I'm
There
Airier,
we
and today
go.
we're looking at analysis of Big D from Hunter the Parenting by Bruv Alphabusa. This is a review specifically done by Cosmic Void with a Q, so this was heavily recommended by my Discord mod Airier, who's also the person who told me about Bruv Alphabusa in the first place, and then I ignored it for a year. I'm going to say it was a year because the actual amount was longer, but I'm not going to cop to that.
Oh, for the record, Airier is someone who's also in our Mage games. Slightly less infuriating than Airier. That's all I'll say on the subject.
So I'm going to do something different and actually listen to the good advice this time and see what is up with this, because apparently something is up with this.
I feel like I've made a mistake here already, because I feel like what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna be very passive aggressive. So he's like, I'll have to listen to the good advice. That makes a nice change of pace, doesn't it? Oh no. Oh boy. This is gonna be
yet. Maybe by the end we'll find out.
interesting.
Either way, I haven't seen anything for Hunter the Parenting in a while, and I am jonesing for more. This is a really good way to scratch that itch. So yeah, link below, video, hit it up. Let's get started. Okay, we're dropping right back into the Emperor then.
Brutal Alpha Abuser is the name of a content creator and a channel on video sharing website YouTube.
So it's going to be a
I'm
overall
specifying this so that it makes sense
review?
contextually when YouTube inevitably burns into flames when we're all forced to migrate to Vimeo or Dailymotion or Big Barry's beautiful buttocks per streaming per service or whatever.
For anyone who hasn't seen TTS, the constant B alliterations might seem weird. For anyone who has, you realize it's a reference to Best Boy. And yes, you have to say it like that.
Okay, so I've had this thought for years, okay? Airier is legitimately the only person I've seen who actually got the joke I was making with that. That was explicitly the point. I was trying to, like, mimic Boy's stammer, and I'm going to be honest, when I was recording that, I kind of just devolved and just started saying random words. Like, he's the only person who actually got the joke that I was going for there. So we're off to a good start. Woohoo!
And I just love that because I miss if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors it might come back because there might be some kind of legal
Yeah.
agreements. But also, one, they're just rumors, and two, I don't want to get my hope up. It would be just too much.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
nice to
home
see that
to
little
what
reference to the
ultimately amounts
character.
to fan fiction for various media properties. The channel was most well known for its work in the Warhammer 40,000 franchise, with the series If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, which served as both a comedic way to do in-universe lore exposition and as an esoteric parody of the Warhammer 40k setting.
Which is weird because 400k actually had esoteric parodies of itself. Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau is an actual canon in-game character who exists in the actual lore of the setting from Rogue Trader. So probably redacted, but with how 40k works, every now and again that.
Yeah, pretty sure the Games Workshop was like hit by. I don't. Whoever's in charge of Star Wars, I'm pretty sure they just went, no, and that had to be stricken from the records. I'm pretty sure. And Rogue Trader was like the first edition of 40k, so. But it does amuse me that it has. I mean, there's like a planet in 40k that's literally just that. Like the entire thing is like the thing is that it makes machinery as loudly as possible, and it's called Metallica. Like it's not a setting that takes itself especially seriously.
Those redacted are unredacted, and they turn out just to be fan redactions that were actually real and sometimes not. If that doesn't make any sense, that's probably about exactly the right place to be in to understand anything in 40k.
Yep, that about sums it
becoming
up.
a detailed and multifaceted, interconnected story with an overarching
I wanna
plot.
rewatch this
It's centered
series.
around the eponymous Emperor of the Imperium of Man,
And it does
an
lead
interstellar
into
state in the
next parts.
universe in the 40th millennium and beyond, which is one of the most corrupt and despotic states in the entirety
Yep,
of
no, I'll
fiction
stand by that.
goes against literal.
Look, listen. Look, Imperium fanboys, okay? Like, nah. The Imperium is a shithole. It's awful. It is. It's such a nightmare state, and yet they keep trying to reframe it as like this noble bastion of mankind, like fighting against the eternal. No, they have you considered they could just not be scum? Have you contemplated that possibility? Alas, no. We've got to have every planet exterminatus, I guess. I don't know. The rants I could go on about Imperium fanboys. Christ almighty. It reminds me of like an issue I have with people who like the Deathcore of Krieg. Now, I love the Deathcore of Krieg, but you know the kinds of people I'm talking about. Like, you get people who are just like the fucking Kaiser larpers, basically. Like they're the Germans of World War II, despite the fact the uniforms are based on like pretty much every World War I major power in the conflict. But ignoring that for the moment, let's play their game for a moment. You have the Deathcore of Krieg, right? And the planet's called Krieg. You can make some assumptions that they're like Germany inspired, and you get a bunch of like Kaiser larpers and Nazis going like, yes, these are our guys. And I'm just sat here like, so a British company made a German planet blow itself up, and then spend 500 years sending everyone to die for the sins of the past, and a bunch of like fascists would go, these guys, they are my top guys. These are the funny ones who no, you idiot. You don't understand what's happening here. That was a bit of a tangent. That happens a lot with 40k and the Imperium being a shithole. What prompted that? I don't know. I've been thinking about that lately. I've been considering making a TTS video, and I've just had a lot of 40k thoughts in my head that I must abuse the world with the knowledge of. Anyway.
Really every single one of its founding principles, with not even...
And the funniest part is they're still the good guys because everyone else is worse. It's not the good guys, it's the goodest guys.
I mean, yeah, let's just upset some people, shall we? Like, I'm a Tau guy. I like the Tau. Admittedly, that is the case. Like, the Imperium is bad. The Tau are less bad. Like, if we're going by degrees of severity here,
in a veil of separation. The series focuses on him attempting to fix the Imperium, as well as his quadrillion D strategies against the enemies of humanity, and his amusing interactions with various allies, servants of the Imperium,
awesome. I started playing
his sons. The four most notable of which are as follows. Kitten, yes, that's what they call him, and it's bloody hilarious, who is the Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes, and the main person that the Emperor interacts with while acting as his caretaker. His role is to mostly play the straight man to everyone else's insanity, and to do the majority of the lore dumps.
I remember
Magnus
that.
the Red, one of the Emperor's Primarch sons, who, due to an incredibly convoluted...
I'm sorry, I'm having so much nostalgia and just pleasant memory about the entire series now.
Yeah, TTS.
This is what got me into 40k, so just having him talk about this...
Also me, the way I just got into TTS because I was told it's a funny series online. I didn't even know it was part of, like, a big thing. It was just... I was told to just watch TTS, and then I got told it was part of 40k, and then I started reading 40k, and then I was like, huh, this is actually pretty interesting. And then I just kind of became mildly obsessed, slightly, a little bit. Like that's one of the big strengths of TTS. Like, I genuinely do believe that if it wasn't for TTS, 40k probably wouldn't be as big as it has gotten. Fully believe that.
In going into Big D, just... You know what? The rest of the video could be shit, and I'm going to love it just because he's giving me this massive nostalgia boost.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
I almost want to buy Magnus, not to
Appreciate it, man.
but just to buy the model because of this show. I spend way too much money on Custodes because of this show.
Convoluted series of events, pre-existing prejudices between him and his brothers, and manipulation from others, turned traitor and joined the enemies of man in a civil war known as the Horus Heresy. The Emperor gives him a second chance, and he is convinced to rejoin his cause. He's basically a nerd wizard who screws up everything he attempts to do. If he attempts to help the Imperium, he will hinder it, and if he attempts to harm the Imperium, he will save it. Rogel Dawn,
He's done it too.
another one of the Emperor's Primarch sons, who was missing for...
I'm not saying that this is also one of the things I had to buy, but...
That's Dawn.
There's
I
always
see
a
him.
temptation to paint it yellow and find a STL version of that head. And if I could ever find a good one that I could actually somehow get was already printed out, and if anyone happens to know an eBay listing where the exact head is already printed out because I don't have a 3D printer, that would actually be incredibly tempting.
10,000 years. A loyalist who remained with the Imperium during the aforementioned Horus Heresy. I say his personality is akin to that of Cardboard, but that would be far too charitable.
I genuinely think this is one of my best jokes that I've ever written here.
To the Cardboard. Somehow he's also one of the funniest characters.
Father, are you familiar with the expression, you are what you eat?
Well, it's not really a joke, is it? It's me setting up
the best way to describe
Rogel
Dorn, wow, I can't speak today. Rogel Dorn, there we go, is that he is the straight man to Kitten's straight man. Normally, it's the straight man and the funny man.
That is the perfect way to describe Dawn. That is bang on perfect. Also, that is the funniest screenshot. Okay, right. So by the time the day is up, this is going to be. I'm going to ensure that Airier sees this. So. This is fun. I'm having fun.
Different terms for it, and frankly, these are old.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it right here. By the way, we're gonna be here a while because at this point, I'm just amusing myself. Okay, you're here to watch me just like entertain myself for the next 2 hours. That if you're not enjoying that, then bad news.
Ones as far as I know. But Kitten is the crazy one by comparison to Rogel Dorn, and that makes him also the crazier because he's taking the serious fellow to a way further extent, and it's a
like the dynamic between them is that Kitten is sane. So when all of this absolute nonsense happens, he's just like, "What is happening?" And Dor is just like completely straight-faced throughout the entirety of it. He's so sane that he becomes insane because he's not having the same reaction to all of this nonsense. That's the dynamic.
It's just
The
the
straight
over the
man's a kid and
top,
straight man.
in your face, no sarcasm, no subtlety, bashing you with whatever he's talking about statements.
Yep.
It's so
Speaking
good
of
because you're not
which-
expecting it, but then it hits you in the face. It's like, yeah, that makes sense, and it just is funny. It's a character type that I actually quite enjoy.
The fuck?
There we
Seeing
go.
as you are behaving like an ever-growing pile of screaming psychic children.
Yeah, accurate.
And boy, just
gave
some
him glasses? I
random
missed
boy
that.
they picked up. He's a Vox Hailer who operates equipment
It
for
does amuse me
podcast
the
audio
boy,
logs,
like-
which are a
It doesn't mean the boy just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Like they just said, okay, he exists now. Now he's like a main. He became like a main character, like from like a joke, I guess. I gotta wonder, like, if they just decide. I wonder if they just what am I thinking here? I wonder if like they intended for Boy to become as integral to the cast as he did, or if it was more just a case of they found this endlessly amusing and just decided, yeah, screw it, we'll add him in.
thing. They
I
just sort
wonder
of ends
these
up
things.
hanging
Yeah.
around and being kind of adopted by the main cast.
Yep.
This boy is a wholesome boy who
Rogel
really
Dorn
shouldn't be
adopted
anywhere
him.
near the madness
And
he's
it's
subjected
actually
to.
awesome.
Nah,
The
he
quality of
really
this
shouldn't.
series really cannot be overstated. It is incredibly cleverly written, well informed about the lore of the series, and characters feel in character despite very obviously not being in character, if that makes any kind of sense. What I'm saying
Oh, I just, when I first got this, I
forgot
didn't understand what was going
I
on.
forgot I did that. I forgot that I did that. Speak sense, you convoluted Anglian bastard. No, I refuse to start speaking sense. You can't make me.
Here, I thought it was the Primarchs, but I was kind of wondering why there's the two crossed out ones. And yeah, in hindsight, it's the two legions that were erased. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I wonder if we'll
just,
ever get anything on them.
little things like
I
this. I
doubt
should
it.
definitely go back and rewatch this.
I do doubt
sense.
it, but
what I'm saying is that the
you know.
writing is done in such a way that a character like Magnus, who has fully embraced the forces of chaos, can be talked down and brought back into the fold in a believable way, in spite of this being something he's incomprehensibly unlikely to actually do. Plotlines.
I mean, it's unlikely he'd actually do it if well written, but I could easily see GW deciding to make a push for an uncorrupted Magnus model after they release all the Primarchs. And yes, I'm going to include Horus and the Emperor in that one. And then they try to do alternate versions because warp fuckery to sell more models. Yeah. See, it's that last part that is convincing me, because model sales. And let's be completely honest here.
I mean, didn't they also make like a clone of Fulgrim? Like, it's not exactly like this is beyond the realm of possibility for these people. Like, it wouldn't be the first time they've just pulled some nonsense to try and sell extra models. God, I hate games.
If you've given into the
I
40k
hate them
bug,
so much.
you're already considering it. As much as you're saying it's stupid, as much as you're saying Airier, they would never do that. They
No, they
know
would.
better. They would respect the lore. Just take a second to think that. Okay, I'm going to give you another second to stop laughing. They would definitely do it to sell models. They've done it to the Lion. They've done it to Rogel Dorn. Well, not yet.
Nah.
Sorry. I have to remind myself these are not actually his models.
Oh.
So whenever I get his head, I will put it on one of them. I'm going to call it a Rogel Dorn figure. They will
they're
do
not.
that eventually, like they did
Oh,
in
and they just
30k,
freaking model.
because money. And I will give them money for it.
Do
Probably too
not.
much and regret it if I think
No,
about it too hard.
stop.
It's a
Don't do it.
complex and intriguing, and it explains the various facets of the franchise incredibly well. It is also extraordinarily funny, mocking some of the more niche bits of lore and knowledge, like the fact that the Adeptus Custodes in one version just sort of went about the Imperial Palace guarding their emperor
Naked.
essentially naked.
Yeah.
This isn't a joke, and these
I thought it was at
bizarre
first,
free
and I
lunatics
wish
end
they
up
had kept it
becoming
that
major
way.
side
Why they
characters.
did
That would be
this.
But it's not just the
absolutely
points.
amazing
When
as a
it
model
wants
goes.
to be, it can make characters and figures like the Laughing God, who are just broadly regarded as a joke, or as being the sort of thing that an edgy gothic emo would edge until all the edge has been sandpapered into a smooth, perfect sphere of no one being able to take them even remotely seriously or be intimidated by in any capacity.
Yep.
The Dark Elder. Or otherwise ignored in wider lore into genuinely unsettling and intimidating monsters that will haunt your nightmares. Yeah, gonna sleep friggin' great tonight, thanks. Some of my favourite moments
Oh,
in the
yeah,
series
the
involve
box.
playing card games with
Like they do this in Hunt of the Parenting as well. Like they made the Burger Man in one of the audio logs. These are joke characters, and they played it straight for genuine horror. Like they keep doing this. It's great. That truly is the magic of the Ogre Papanong team. They will take the stupidest characters and make them terrifying, and they will take the stupidest characters. No, sorry, they will make the terrifying characters and make them absolute jokes. It's phenomenal.
actual gods, the Dungeons and Dragons specials, the Bro Trip side.
I was actually informed that it wasn't a Dungeons and Dragons thing. It was a Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, which I didn't know existed. I fully just assumed that Ogre Papanong had just like made up a version of D&D made for Warhammer Fantasy. I thought they were doing something completely on their own. I didn't realize it was an actual game, which like that was still relatively early on in me like being a fan of Warhammer, and I didn't really care all that much for Warhammer Fantasy. I got into it later, but like it just wasn't my thing at the time. But now it is very much my thing. Who's my favorite faction in? I guess the Empire is my favorite faction because there really is a case where like everyone is like equally shit. Look, if there was an Albion faction, I would like the Albion faction. Like apparently they've got like Crow Raven Lord Magi over there or some insane nonsense. I only have like secondhand information, and I don't know why that hasn't been expanded. And then they blew up the setting to make Age of Sigmar for reasons I cannot comprehend.
Series, Magnus.
Still think Bro Trip had one of the absolute best intro episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Had some of the funniest jokes, and they were still good after that, but they were never completed for the same reason nothing else ever did. But it was
that was straight up just them like going to like visiting different planets for their I guess their Astra Militarum regiment. I wonder if they would have ever gone to Krieg. I can't imagine why they would ever go to Krieg. Like what the hell would you even do there? Like what? Like they're like I kind of had this impression that they were deliberately avoiding Krieg because everyone loves Krieg. Krieg is awesome. But like what the hell kind of a story can you even do on Krieg? Like everyone there is in the army. What like there's no dissent on the planet. It's a nightmare hellhole. What would you even do there?
freaking good. You see, now I'm hitting the part where it's like I remember as good as this was, it's still dead. At that moment of realization, still hurts.
It's still dead. It's still dead.
It's been what, almost 2 years, and it still gets you.
It's been a bit longer for me.
Arguing the Emperor's eloquent soliloquies of verbal destruction, the Battle of Cain's Gate and Requiem for Dominique, and
the Requiem for Dominique. That I'm gonna level with you. That was like that was the hypest. That was just the hypest stuff. That was great. Also, Caiaphas Cain. I now know more about Caiaphas Cain. I know who he is now. Because when I first watched this, I didn't have a clue who this guy was. Like, absolutely none. Then I learned who it was, and this shot is hysterical beyond words. It is just, as soon as you get past the soldiers glazing him, he just has a complete meltdown. It's mad. It's great.
It was such a good one. They had Takahata read for him too.
Okay, if I did that part again, I will say I would have probably cut it in half. I would have had to just go Caiaphas Cain, Hero of the Imperium, and then like have the screenshot that we're on now. I think that would have been snappier. But
having a mental breakdown.
Like a piece of shit!
It's great.
It
accurately
really
captures
was.
the grim darkness that originated with Warhammer 40k,
But
it
also the
has
humor
a
that was
strange
lost.
sense of optimism to it as well. It's out here saying that yes, the Imperium of Man is a horrible state down to its very core on an almost fundamental level, but it can still change. It's an uphill battle in a galaxy that almost necessitates the sheer brutality that the Imperium exists within to a degree, but the goal is still to reach that ideal vision of what it was meant to be. There isn't an alternative. If humanity keeps going down the path it's on in TTS, it's doomed. It has to change. And for all the absolute misery that the Imperium exports on a microsecondly basis, there is still something worth saving in it.
now that is something I do very much stand by, and it's why, in theory, I like Chaos as a antagonistic faction in 40k. No, excuse me. There was a book, apparently. I haven't read. I have no free time. But there was a book, apparently focused on Gilliman, and the conclusion that Gilliman came to basically was that, like, okay, so we have all of these planets, and they're run down shitholes. And the logic being is that the Imperium leaves them like this because if they're shitholes, and they breed strong warriors who can be used to fight the enemies of man. And Gilliman's like, no, actually, that's going to make them join Chaos because they have shit lives, and, like, we're literally not offering them an alternative. So he started a massive campaign to make these worlds not shit. And, like, that's good. That's how you use Chaos. That's how you justify the Imperium, like, existing. You do this because that's like, if you're not doing all of this to reach humanity to new heights, literally, what is even the point of the Imperium? So that I like. That's what I like. In practice, it's not really gone that way for a while. But that's where my thoughts at with where I was when I was making that bet.
And I think that's one of the differences between canon 40k, well, early on, actually up until 8th edition even, and TTS 40k. TTS is grim bright, where canon 40k is sometimes grim dark.
Yes.
See, the bright doesn't really work. The way that scale works is grim dark is it's a dark setting where bad shit happens, and it's grim because it's only going to get worse. So I guess it wouldn't be grim bright. It would be hopeful dark.
It's
Yeah. Basically, the alternative is to this one is shit's bad,
no,
but
excuse
it
me.
can get better.
The issue that I often have with grim dark is that, like, it's used as an excuse to just, like, wallow in misery. Like, what's a good example? Trench Crusade. Aside from that being run by, let's try and not get sued here. People that vastly overestimated their abilities. Let's go with. That's just kind of grim dark for the sake of wallowing in misery. What I like about TTS was that, yeah, it acknowledges that the universe is screwed, but there's still a path forward if you keep fighting for it. That's the best use of grimdark for me. I have no real interest in grimdark that's just miserable for the sake of being miserable. Like, if you're going to have a grimdark setting, at least use it to explore something. It's like, yeah, let's upset some people. It's like the Coffin of Annie and Lele, right? Where the two main characters are just miserable, scum, and the world is awful, but it's being used to explore the two main leads and their psychologies and psyches. Like, if it was just miserable for the sake of being miserable, I wouldn't care. But you have to use that to actually say or do something with it, you know?
Although there's also the argument that you could say the current 40k and 8th, 9th, and 10th edition with the Primarchs returning, everything hyping up, could be said to always be getting better, but also kind of doesn't. 40k canon storytelling doesn't focus on characters nearly as much as small side stories. And sometimes they lead into bigger things, but it just... It's hard to say overall. It always feels like nothing is moving, and then everything is moving all at once when a Primarch returns.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who's
It was
only
basically
Gilliman
static
and
for like 20 years, then Gilliman came back, and it's like, bam, everything's going on all at once.
think about, because all the others returning haven't had an effect yet. Technically, all the others returning would literally just be the demons, who were then immediately not made relevant.
They'll bring
and,
Dawn back.
well, demon Primarchs.
Dawn.
And
I'm
the Lion,
mixing
whose
them up.
story I don't really know much about. I know he's old. I mean, the model looks amazing. I still need to pick up a copy if they ever have it in stock again.
I would have loved to
That
bring
earlier
back Clone
moment I
Fulcrum. That'd be
mentioned,
funny.
selling models and then just having
Oh,
sweaty nerds
battery.
buy them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not
Nothing
projecting
there
at all on that one.
Because as the Emperor puts it, there still exists that immense potential within mankind. Text-to-speech is
Yeah.
what really got me into the Warhammer 40k
Yep.
universe.
I would
and
not
it's
have got
a
in
series
otherwise.
I still rewatch with
No,
regularity.
I would've
saved a lot of money,
Sometimes
too.
I'll even watch reaction
Hey.
videos to it.
There it is. I genuinely didn't expect him to like watch this. This was purely for demonstrative purposes, as far as I was concerned. I'm genuinely kind of surprised that things worked out. But then when I knew that he had done a reaction to it, my immediate thought was this. I wanted to see this.
Just so I can get a
Look at his
taste of
skin.
the feelings I got when I
Hey!
first saw those episodes.
Hell yeah.
Also, holy shit, is that what my camera looked like? Oh, it's like on the one hand, I like the lighting better. On the other hand, oh, wow. I still have that robe. That apartment I was in previously was really cold. I had a heater running, and I still needed to wear this robe. I was freezing in there. Turning the PC on full blast, which, if you don't have a PC, you know what I mean. But if you do, you know what it means to say that.
I have the exact opposite problem. The window in my room is facing I don't know what direction it's facing actually, but like the sun is always shining through. I am melting as we speak here. Also, Airier, I like the TARDIS background. Return it. Do so.
Was
I
the
command
only
it.
way I heated parts of that building. Oh god, and by building, probably just the apartment itself. But details.
First saw those episodes.
I have a beard envy of myself.
But alas, text-to-speech was not to last.
Here we
In
go.
2021, Games Workshop, the intellectual property owners of the Warhammer 40k franchise,
Okay, here comes the
changed
pain.
their policies around fan-made content. For a long
Yeah.
time, the company was
Starties.
mostly fine with the existence of fan-made
Yeah, because they figured they can make money on it. They failed to make money on it, but then they took any money they can get, and it's good enough.
I am still extraordinarily angry that this
Good
even
people
happened.
working for it, bad people running it. Really great modelers. Yeah. So if he's bringing up 40k
to be clear,
right
my
now,
hatred of Games Workshop is not based on like any of the people who are actually making the models or like any authors who work, nothing like that. But Games Workshop is a fucking nightmare company. I hate them.
now that I'm taking the nostalgia glasses off a bit, he's probably going to mention how Big D is basically a spiritual successor, how Hunter the Parenting is the spiritual successor to TTS. It's a lot of tropes, a lot of character beats, a lot of interactions and understandings of how people relate to each other brought forward into a completely different setting that they have an actual license, because there's a free one through White Wolf, to use in that setting for World of Darkness. Old World of Darkness, I think.
Oh, that's very true,
Yeah.
but I have made it quite clear. I like to view TTS and HTP as like being completely separate entities to one another. I feel like that's more charitable towards HTP because I feel like I don't like the idea of Hunter the Parenting like basically being carried by TTS because I think that the writing, if you take HTP on its own, its writing is really friggin' solid that it doesn't need TTS. So I feel it's fairer to judge HTP by its own distinct merits. Of course, that being said, it is also a spiritual successor. It's just, it's one of those things, you know?
It's just something I wish 40k had so they could not be complete assholes and shoot their community in the dick about it.
content and animation in particular. This policy, however, went against that sentiment and wanted an outright ban on the creation of fan-made animations. This
Because
was described as
money.
a zero-tolerance policy.
Yeah.
This was being done at the same time as the release of Warhammer Plus.
My hatred is immeasurable.
Yeah, funny how that worked out, and then they stopped caring
Yeah.
about enforcing those rules as soon as they went to a different model, and this became less of their immediate focus. People are trying to animate for 40k again in the year plus since this came out. Not as much, but it happens now. You can find a few more coming out. And no one I've heard about has had any more legal issues with 40k because of that. But also, while they still have a lot of this stuff going on, it's not the immediate focus it feels like from previous events.
To be fair, I have also heard that they have been they were like giving cosplayers a hard time as well. So like I'm genuinely not even sure what the plan is at this point. I don't know what they're doing.
I think they've more or less figured out, okay, the pandemic bump we were trying to take advantage of, we missed, and it's over. They're probably still going to push it. I wouldn't be surprised if more legal issues come up in the future. But it does feel like what they're talking about here, the Warhammer Plus, move to our app and get all our digital content, fell through hard. They're still painting content on it that's valuable, and some of the apps are...
They've also
I've
made
been
like
told-
some pretty impressive like animations and some interesting series that have come out of it. I'm not paying them for it, frankly, like out of sheer spite. But Like, it did not... I don't think... Oh my god, I just looked at Airier's face for a second. Oh, I'm going to have fun tormenting him later on. Jesus. Oh boy, we've been at this for half an hour. We're not. Oh, we're gonna be here for a while. Oh boy, I've forgotten what I was saying. Let's just continue.
Now, really good. But also, this was not a fair price. This for a year would have been a fair price. Hello, actually would have been completely reasonable, and I would have championed paying them that much money to get all the content they had for £5 a year. Not a month. Fuck no. And I realize I'm American. When it's £5, it's probably like $7 or $8 in freedom money. So, yeah.
How's that
Service you
working
would have
out?
to pay
Just
money
out of
for,
curiosity, how's
which these free
area, buddy, area, pal, buddy? How's that been working? How's the freedom dollars been doing? How's that been working out? just curious. Just, you know.
openly available fan animations would compete against.
And were sometimes
Conventional
better,
wisdom would
and
suggest
had
that
more
this
of
was
them.
done in an attempt to cripple what was seen
And
as a
came out
rival
faster.
market.
I am sorry. I am just absolutely livid at the moment.
But
Yep.
be that the case or not, Alpha
I'm not gonna lie. That was like a very late addition to the video. That was like right before I finished editing the video. My brain was just like, "Hang on a moment. What's the? You have funny. There is a funny you can do." And I went and found that, and it was weirdly difficult to find that clip. I don't know why it took me so long. But I'm like that was such a good addition. I'm so happy with that.
Abuser and the team of people whom he brought onto the project by this point made the choice to cancel text-to-speech rather than wait for a cease and desist to be sent their way. And outside
Actually, I remember seeing this specific note Bruv Alpha Booster put out. It wasn't just that they were trying to avoid legal issues. It's that he had just become a father. He had people working for him who had actual need of financial income. There was a lot riding on this, and
Don't you just love the commercialization of art? And like the financialization of everything. It's great. I love it. We're doing fantastic as a civilization, I'd say. But like, yeah, no, that's something I should have mentioned as well. Like him being a father and like others like very much being dependent on TTS's existence for their income. Like that would have weighed heavy on them quite a bit. So like making the choice to cut that off now, while like everyone's got the chance to like while they've still got the opportunity to, instead of it just being like suddenly shut down later on, it was the prudent decision, I think.
Well,
kind of, I'd say it helped cement my respect for this group as well a lot, because if they were like corporate shills, or trying to be at least, they would have just tried to power through it. But they didn't, and they made the humanitarian decision, which is definitely the one I respect the most.
they could have pushed on. They could have risked it. That would have been a legitimate, actual problem to his ability to be said father.
Yeah.
Destroyed a lot of work they put in. So it was more than just, hey, my channel's destroyed. It would be, hey, my actual livelihood is destroyed, and the people who rely on me would be destroyed.
Yeah.
That is not just pressure. That is, oh, I can't justify this in any way, shape, or form pressure.
Yeah.
And he made the right choice to move on. Frankly, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no
Hunter
kidding.
the Parenting's great. And I will admit, I'm a little biased because of the spiritual successor nature of the entire work itself. Also, that
I'm
Bruv
not.
Alpha Boost and his team
I
did
think
it
it
because they're
stands on
freaking
its own
amazing
without
at
it.
Ahead of the release of the first two parts of what would have ended up being a three-part episode, and the promise that if the policy
Ignore
were
that.
reversed and a new concrete one in its protections of fan-made content was put into place, that it may one day return, this was the end of text-to-speech.
See that part right there, the promise that it could return? That's...
Ow.
Games Workshop has reverse policies before. They've corrected things.
I still hope.
They've also refucked them up after they've corrected them
That they-
plenty
that
of
they have.
times.
I still have hope that perhaps one day, maybe one day, I don't know if it'll happen soon, but hopefully one day.
And while I might not be the newest player, I only started doing this in the before times, and For anyone who didn't immediately think the number 2020, there's probably very few people about that. But I've heard horror stories specifically about how 40K used to be so much worse in its community representation than just what they're doing here. So this is still an upside. It's just sliding back a lot. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as it was. They're doing cease and desist now, as opposed to directly taking someone to court and actively trying to fuck them over, which is something I've heard happened in the 2000s and 90s. Because sure, why not?
Don't you just love Games Workshop?
Again, this is coming from the company that has an actual character named Sherlock Obi-Wan Clouseau. Or is it Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau? I don't remember. I don't care. But that is a thing they did. And if you can smell the Disney lawsuit, they probably can too. And we would gladly recommend anyone stops talking about it ever in any way, shape, or form.
From the shadows of this, however, a new series began to appear on the Alpha Abuser YouTube channel. And while the loss of text-to-speech stings, if we were to never get it back, this new series is a pretty damned good consolation prize. And that's...
Although I'd also add in one of the extra ones would be some of the side works they've done with other people taking over the main role in the port. I think it was Speaker D did a few works on the the actual lore of From White Wolf from the... I just said the word in the entire series and I completely forgot it. Wow. Massive brain fart right there. But the world is World of Darkness. There it is. The World of Darkness.
That's what he was...
Specifically,
okay, yeah.
Specifically the old World of Darkness. And those were fun in how they broke it down. So those two, just like moving outside of the usual mold and going to more informative content was really good. It's not just that they can do this style of humor. It's that they have a lot of ability to do a lot of different content.
It was, because that's what got me into this.
And whatever those little ending segments are that are always entirely weird and gone anywhere from movie bits to fake documentaries and music videos.
I'm not sure where he's going with this, to be honest.
They're weird.
Series is Hunter the Parenting.
2006, yeah.
Have we arrived?
About fucking time!
In the first
Hunter the
episode,
Parenting is based on World of Darkness, a sort of shared universe multimedia series primarily based on a series of tabletop role-playing games. The series at large is a bit of an oblique presence within broader culture.
I guess makes sense.
The series of games are Hunter the Reckoning, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Demon the Fallen, Mage the Ascension, Wraith the Oblivion, and without question the most famous and well-known one, Vampire the Masquerade.
Before I knew anything about White Wolf, before I knew anything about RPGs, I heard of Vampire the Masquerade as much as D&D.
That is the case with me as well. But I didn't know that it was a tabletop RPG, for reasons that are truly beyond my understanding. I thought it was a stage musical or something. I legitimately do not know why I thought that. I don't even remember if I mentioned it in the video. Did I mention it in the video? I genuinely don't know. But like that has always been such a weird thing to me, now that I'm deep into the World of Darkness mind. It's like, how did this even happen?
Before I got into either of them, I had no idea I was getting into it. I never found out anything. But even I had heard about this before I got into any nerd shit. Frankly, I wish I had earlier, because nerd shit's awesome.
Yep.
But this is so famous that it broke into stupid idiots' heads a decade ago.
It's been popular for a really long time.
20 years. Oh, shit.
It was like the
20
second
years ago.
most popular tabletop
yes, I would have been
RPG.
about 13 at the time. I have no idea how I found this out.
It was second only to Dungeons and
Probably
Dragons.
Internet.
That's how popular
Other
Vampire
games
the
exist
Masquerade
within the
was.
series, but odds are good that even
Deviant,
without
I've
knowing
not
that
heard
it
about.
relates to the World of Darkness.
Okay, so like what happened here was I now know enough to
Other
know the
games
distinction. These are technically not part of World of Darkness. They kind of are, but also kind of aren't. This was a mistake that I made. Changeling the Dreaming would be part of Old World of Darkness. Mummy the not the Curse, but Mummy the Resurrection, I think it is, would be part of Old World of Darkness. Geist, Promethean, Deviant, Beast, these would be part of Chronicles of Darkness, which are technically a separate continuity. But like, if you were to get me to run a session, I'm counting all of these as part of Old World of Darkness at the same time. Just because that makes the world a bit more batshit insane, and also there's not actually any rules saying that you can't do that. Well, Old World of Darkness is pretty heavily constructed around you being able to just throw in whatever you want. So my thought process was, alright, let's take all the Chronicles of Darkness stuff and throw that into Old World of Darkness. No one can stop me. I'm gonna do it. You can't make me not do it. If I have a GM if I have a GM a World of Darkness game, I should definitely throw in some of these guys. That I feel like that would throw my players off for a loop.
Within the series, but odds are good
Oh,
that even
Deviant,
without
I've not
knowing that
heard
it was
about.
related to the World of Darkness, a lot of people will have
Whoa.
at least heard of Vampire the Masquerade. I know I heard of Vampire the Masquerade just through cultural osmosis.
Yep.
Though for the longest time, I had no idea what it actually was. I learned that it was a media franchise through knowing of the existence of the Bloodlines games, but I was
Never got
completely
around to playing
unaware that
that.
it was originally a tabletop game or part of World of Darkness. I didn't even know that World of Darkness was a thing. Initially, I was rather hesitant to try Hunter the Parenting.
Yeah, no, I never mentioned it, but like I genuinely thought Vampire the Masquerade was like a musical or something. I legit I legitimately have no idea how I came to that conclusion. I don't know. I have no. Maybe I just thought it sounded like something like that a theater kid would play or be in. I guess I don't know. No idea.
The wounds of text-to-speech were still fresh, and I'm the kind of person that needs to be in a certain mood to try certain things.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, and he's oh, I referenced the Speaker D videos going into the detail about the world, and this is the video. That's actually the video he's
Yep,
talking
this is the
about.
one.
This is the thumbnail they used when he went into the overall detail
This
that
was-
they used in their creation of the.
Yeah, this was the best way to like get someone like me into World of Darkness. To be honest, like this was
not the Emperor,
what tipped
I
me over the
suppose,
edge.
to create Hunter the Parenting.
However, one day the Alpha Abuse channel released a video called Gothic Horror, RPGs set in your hometown, an intro to World of Darkness.
Yep.
I left it for a few days and then felt myself getting in the mood to try something new, so I checked out this video. It set the scene incredibly well, about a secret underworld hidden from the view of the regular mundane world.
Yep.
About how intricately it had been weaved into be part of the natural world.
If anything, this is the greatest way to introduce you to Hunter the Parenting by showing you the world they're in, and then going from this is the seriousness.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough. That's another. I'm gonna be loaded with these by the time this is all done. I'm not gonna lie though. The very first like when I first saw like the thumbnails for Hunter the Parenting, I did think that like it was just something that that like the crew had made like themselves. Like they'd just gone off and decided to do an original project. I didn't realize it was part of World of Darkness. Man, I would have. Maybe I should have just done like maybe I should have done reactions back then. Maybe I should have reacted. Maybe I should have just done like a blind reaction to that one and just been like, oh, so this is like the original thing that they're doing, and made myself look like an idiot. Maybe that's what I should
This
have
is
done.
the kind of concepts we have. There's a lot of teamwork involved, but there's a lot of really bad shit out there, man. And then dropping into Hunter, and it'll be the same kind of whiplash that TTS had, going from this is a much more lighthearted series that has darkness in a setting that is just dark, but has some light. It's the same thing. It's why it's a spiritual successor. If this had come out first, it probably would have helped so much. At least in my own understanding, instead of having to go through comments where people admittedly told me everything I needed, but they were so incredibly detailed, my mind glossed over because people who know about this series know a lot about it. And admittedly,
yeah, no. If when you're first getting into World of Darkness and you try and go on the wiki, you are gonna like have an aneurysm because there's so many like different parts which are using different terminology. Like I didn't understand werewolves until like I just sat down and forced myself to play parts of Earthblood, and I was just like, okay, that's their deal, understood. Now I know more about werewolves. I look at Earthblood like, okay, so this is like the worst portrayal of werewolves possible. Got it. But like trying to like just throw someone into the deep end of World of Darkness like that is very not easy. At the same time, though, I do think that Hunter the Parenting's first episode, with the power of hindsight, of course, is very good at in media res, slow trickling of information. You know what I mean? Like, obviously D at least, knows about a lot of this. The rest of the family don't. So that works as like a grounding force for newcomers. People who are more knowledgeable about World of Darkness recognize that D is like that he knows what he's doing. I do think as the first episode was really good with that.
They're really friendly and shared all the information freely. I'm just an idiot.
Seeking to make its existence nothing more than a fairy tale. Hidden messages, flickering lights of rundown apartments,
Ooh, I'm
eyes
getting
that follow
dark.
you in the dark, spirits that you cannot hear, and
The inherent
predators that you
creepiness of
cannot
it.
know. But even knowing of the existence of these things that lurk in the dark is a threat to your own life. It conveyed the dark nature of the world, its intrigue, its horror, its world of darkness.
Give it a second.
Well, you can throw all that in the garbage because World of Darkness is also clown.
There it is.
Hello, welcome.
Yep.
Dracula is real. He comes
Okay.
with vampirism and everyone hates him because he's famous.
What? All right.
It's an evil fast food chain that puts literal demons into their cheeseburgers.
What?
Oh, Tully's.
Yeah, that one doesn't seem that weird to me still. I know
nightmare.
it's supposed to be like, hey, this is insane. I'm just sitting here going like, dude. It's basically Burger King at that point.
Wait, what?
Owned by the same corporate death cult that
Wait,
owns the
hang
evil
on a
beer
moment.
company doing the
Who
same
are these
thing
people?
to their beverages. The reason
What?
they do this? To subtly convince random people to beat their wives.
What?
This is not
Whoa.
a joke. You
World
want
of
more?
Darkness.
Oh, I can give you more. In 1914, a deranged inventor named Sarvargo was so disgusted
ma-
at the capacity for mankind to
Evil right
destroy
lunatic.
a
Madman.
giant Zeppelin armada of
What?
Earth cities and
What?
declared himself world emperor.
Excuse me?
Squad composed of secret agents, killer robots, and
Who are these
were
people?
barely able to force him to retreat. And then
What?
real-life scientist Michael Faraday
Faraday
vaporized them
cage?
so hard they both exploded.
What?
And everyone on Earth just forgot this ever happened because the New World Order covered it up.
Of
I feel
course.
insane. And I'm not even talking about the steampunk explorers fighting.
Yeah, this is why. This is why I absolutely love this setting.
Yeah, this is
because
why I
it
got into
has that overarching veneer of darkness, but that it never lost that entire absolute batshit insanity that 40K's kind of glossed over entirely. But then TTS brought.
Accidentally muted myself for a second there. But yeah, no. You're getting on the ground level, and there's some dark stuff. It's pretty straightforward. Then you peer in a little deeper, and this setting is out of its fucking mind. It's great.
Up, and I absolutely loved it for.
Nazis on the Hollow Earth, where the
What?
ancient kingdoms of the Lizard Kings.
Ah, yes, the Lizard Kings.
Is off its shit.
Yeah, back then that was that was complete and utter insanity. Now I'm just sat here like, yes, all of this makes perfect sense to me, which I feel should be a worrying sign. It's like, yep, no, that's all perfectly coherent to me. I understood everything about that. There were the Macaulay, who are the Lizard Kings, and they're the were crocodiles, and the steampunk explorers, probably Evilites, I would imagine. Nazis in the Hollow Earth, maybe the full occult. You see what I mean? You see the depths of madness I have been dragged into here.
Yup.
Hey,
I get where this guy's coming from right now. It's
I
weird.
can't argue with that, I suppose. All right, fine, I'll try your bloody vampire series. Don't you get smug with me.
Okay. I love the editing right here. Just
Thank you.
waiting to put the glasses on. Right as he gives in to do it. Oh,
Mama,
I
me
appreciate
feeling
good
all
editing. Mostly
smug.
because I've tried. I suck at it. But I recognize it's a lot harder than I thought it was.
Speak a
Honestly, that bit was also very much a late entry, I will admit. Like I was rewatching that a bit, because I just because I wanted to make sure that I'd recounted everything properly, and then I saw the sunglasses on cool bit, and I was just like, hang on a moment, there's a joke in here somewhere I can make. And then I did, and that's probably like my absolute favorite edit that I did with this video. Like we can just stop here, frankly. Like it's all downhill. Woohoo!
The short
Hunt the
shorts.
Parenting follows a family of hunters in the East Anglia region of England as they engage.
No, I'm not disparaging the early artwork for Hunter the Parenting, for the record, but it is astonishing how far they've come with the visuals and how quickly they came from this stage. Like it it genuinely is quite phenomenal, like how much the visuals have improved as the series has gone on. There's a certain charm to these earlier ones, but like just from like a technical perspective, like it really it's just gone from strength to strength. It's just kept improving very consistently. It kind of reaches a point where it's like, how do you improve from this? You've pretty much nailed the style. I don't know where you can go from here. And then they keep doing it. So Who knows? Who knows where they're going? Who knows? Play, damn you.
With
There we
various
go.
aspects from the world of darkness. From vampires to werewolves to mages to ghouls to weird dream holes in the backs of convenience stores. In what I like to assume was a thinly veiled piss-off in the face to Games Workshop, the cast are mostly a group of XPs from text-to-speech just transferred into the World of Darkness setting. Just in case you don't know what an XP is, it's essentially where you export a character from one series to another, change them a bit to make them distinct, and then reuse them.
Admittedly, that is functionally what happened, but in the releases Alpha Boost put out, he did specifically say these were spiritual successors. They're not the same character.
Yeah.
They are very distinct in what happened to them. They're more like...
I keep getting people saying, "Oh no, D is like the Emperor." No, 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 no. No, he isn't. No, stop, stop. Cease and desist. You are stop. All right, stop. I'm gonna hurt you physically. Stop it.
Similar life state, but a different way to reach it, and they're going to go to different locations in the sense that, well, I mean, Big D can actually get out of his chair. That's a bit on the nose. I guess that'd be toes at that point.
Jesus,
So don't
Airier.
let any of that discourage you if you haven't seen Hunter. While they are thinly veiled, legally distinct remakes of the TTS crew,
And also way better animated. It improves drastically per every single episode. For example, just right here, this is the style of animation in the very first episode. And this is a walking animation they had later on. Even just paused, you can see that there's just so much detail. I think also they refined the lines down where the first one was supposed to almost look like either a crayon or a pencil had drawn it, like a colored pencil. I haven't done it in a long time, so I'm not actually sure if it does look like a colored pencil. I'm assuming a crayon, though.
It's very scribbly.
And that style,
it's a very
I think they
scribbly art
kept a
style.
lot of it, but toned it down to make it look more clean. And frankly, the animations are insanely good.
Yeah.
It just keeps improving. It is such a tour de force when it comes to
Fun
their
fact
ability
about
to...
this, I say fun fact. My fun observation about this walk cycle as well. Every character's walk is like conveying their personality. These is like flamboyant. Excuse me. These is flamboyant as all hell. Dawes is very martial. I was gonna say that Marcus's is and then I remembered. Hold on a moment. Oh yeah, he's crippled at the moment. Right, that doesn't really work. You've got Kitten who's just being sensible, and then you've got Boy who's just his coat's it's too long sleeves. It's cute, and then again you've got Marcus, and like I don't know what to do with him here. It shows the consequences of his actions, I suppose.
animate their shows.
there are enough differences that make them distinct from their source material that make them interesting in this new setting and feel
How
like
they
new
walk,
characters.
where they're walking
it also works
from,
if you haven't seen
what they're
TTS,
wearing.
since it just comes across as a bunch of very well-written characters in this new setting. In fact, I
Yep.
think that that's the best way to engage with the series personally. I tend to treat them as entirely distinct entities. Kitten and Boy were in essence fully original characters from the get-go, and so they've been transferred more or less wholesale from text-to-speech with only very minor differences in their personalities and roles. In this universe, rather than being a sort of protege of Brutal Dawn, Boy is
Flat out
actually
son.
the son of Dor. His name is Dor.
Aw.
Dawn. Do you get it? I told you the distinctions were paper thin.
Yep.
Of which, Dor is a very blunt individual. He's ex-military and is a general handyman who barely understands analogies, figures of speech, or naming conventions. Probably explains why he named his son Boy, actually. This is
Yep.
consistent with his TTS counterpart, but unlike Dawn seems to have a lot more emotional variety, showing fear, a callous and even slightly sadistic streak in terms of dealing with vampires, and emotional awareness around his brother when he's dealing with stress and mental anguish. He's also
Also, it literally took me this long to notice it.
That was such
He's
a
an
good...
incredibly square, straightforward person. So they literally gave him
such a
a
perfect,
square head.
freeze
I
frame. Just
probably should have noticed that sooner, but it literally just hit me now.
He's also
yep,
American.
He came
Yep.
out American. Isn't it awful?
Speaking of his brother
Horrible,
Marcus,
truly.
I
he's
forgot
an
I
XP
did-
of Marcus the Red.
Nice.
Probably means I
I really forgot that I did. See, this is what I genuinely this is why I put in so much work into my videos and why I make them the way that I do. I want to be able to look back on the videos I made and make myself laugh. Like if I this video is it's 2 or 3 years old I think at this point, which is slightly concerning. But I still think that they're good. I genuinely am quite happy with how they've turned out. This is what I want my content to be like. I want it to stand the tests of time. This is why I do the work the way that I do. That's another fun area face.
Somehow.
For my favorite character in the TV
He's a very and another one. He's a very expressive guy. What do you want me to say?
series. Very intelligent and dedicated to scholarly pursuits.
Yeah, that in the corner. Hang on, go back a second. Like that. That being said, I don't know what the blinking crikey he's doing here. Someone suggested to me that these were like glow sticks that he like crushed together into a ball, which I guess maybe that's possible, but I don't. That's not how glow sticks work. So I still don't know what he's done here.
Right information is very capable of making the correct choices. Issue is, he's rarely given the correct information, so most of his choices end in absolute, horrible, hilarious failure.
To be fair, jumping out the window was a bad idea regardless. And it is one of the things how in TTS, Magnus wasn't the closest person, became such a favorite. He felt like he was integral to the story. And I mean, he also then was integral to the story. In this one, though, it's not so much the integral to the story. It's more, you can tell that Marcus is basically the closest character to acting like the son of Big D, because he's so much like Big D in how they express themselves. Just, it's the lack of information, the general insanity, the absolute bravado and confidence in themselves. It's such a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And also, just the antagonist.
I fully agree. They are, D and Marcus are very similar characters to one another. They're very similar in how they handle themselves, I guess. Like they're both very confident. That the main distinction is that Marcus is not exactly his confidence is not exactly as earned, but it's not as earned because D keeps withholding information from him. But D does also have his... It's just these layered reasons for why things are the way that they are.
They're carrying over from the previous show, but also holding true to this one, but less defined.
It's
also
such
randomly
it's such a
Horace's
well-made series. It really is.
Sure, why not?
This bothers him constantly.
I should make a video, like, just going over all the reasons why Hunter the Parenting kicks ass. I really should. I should get to that one of these days.
Despite him really wanting to do the right thing. He's also romantically involved with and engaged to Kitten. Now, in TTS, I wouldn't have liked this since it felt like Magnus was manipulating Kitten a lot of the time. In Hunter, though, Kitten and Marcus genuinely are really cute together.
They are
Kitten
very
in
cute
TTS
together.
acted as a sort of vehicle for lore dumps. He was the one who relayed information to the Emperor and by extension the viewer. Because this was his role, he had a nearly encyclopedic knowledge of the state of the galaxy in the Warhammer setting. In Hunter, this has been flipped on its head somewhat. He's still very intelligent and has a lot of knowledge about East Anglia since he grew up there. As well as having a collection of myths and folklore tales to pull from, but he is very much not all-knowing about vampires, mages, werewolves, and the likes. He has a voracious curiosity about them, though, and attempts to learn as much as he can from wherever he can, from groups of other people in the know like the Arcanum, vampires themselves, or D. And speaking of which, we can finally get to the biggest character change of all.
Time to get
I just
to
realized
D,
we are
boys.
almost 13 minutes, 13 and a half minutes in, and we haven't even got to the main point.
Yeah, I'm not the best with intros. They tend to last a while. I mean, we're 13 minutes into that video. We're about 32 minutes into this one, and we're about an hour into mine. Like, that's not even as bad as the Coffin of Andy and Laley one. That took 20 minutes to get past the intro. I'm not... Look, they say brevity is the soul of wit, and if that's the case, I am one dull fucking son of a bitch, okay? That's... We're just gonna have to accept this, okay? I made my peace with it a long time ago.
Of the entire video, an analysis of Big D. We've just been getting the lead into how the character was created and what the setting that was created after TTS was. And I like how he's looking into this. Frankly, this is really good. I'm just actually just going to go down and subscribe right now.
Hey!
If you haven't already, go do
Holy
that.
crap, what was that?
This
What was
is
that?
really
Sorry.
good. I'm just actually just going to go down.
God, this was when I had 4,000 subscribers. I'm now like, I'm nearing 20k on that channel. That is so, that's so, God, it really, this video really did well. This video was so, it was very much like the video that made me realize, oh crap, people actually like listen to me. Oh God. Oh, I need to start putting an effort into this. It's just really, I don't know. I'm very happy with how things have turned out. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very happy that I made this video because a lot of what's happened, like in my personal life, kind of has come downstream of this video and it doing really well. So I'm very happy that I made that decision. I'm having a blast.
On there and subscribe right now. If you haven't already, go do that. This guy's
Yeah.
definitely earned it already.
Yes.
And
Thank
the main
you,
thing
sir.
that I wanted to talk about, the character of... Yes, that is
So
his name.
over the top. I love it.
Boy into the dread inferno
Walmart?
and see his fearful hide burn away in the conflagration.
I always love the over-the-top faces. They're so freaking funny, man.
So do
Thank
I.
you so much, man. Yeah, Cosmic Void, thank you for dropping those in. They're just so damn good.
Oh, how
And
kind
with
of
that,
you.
you have seen about half of how he acts.
Yep.
In my opinion, the more boring half. Not that it's boring in the least, mind you. Let me explain. Talking about Big D without talking
Oh, I
about the
don't know where
world
this
of
is from.
darkness and Hunter the Parenting broadly is a bit like trying to talk about King Alfred the Great without explaining the state of England at the time. I mean, you can do it.
I'm not English. I got no idea what any of it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that this came up because I was playing Total War Warhammer. Like no, not Total War Warhammer. One of the that I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. One of the two. I this was a really weird choice I made. I think and so, but I think it works.
This is about. Although what he's probably going to bring up is how Big D is outwardly insane. He's outwardly mad, and you should just ignore him because everything he says is stupid. But in some of the smaller episodes, including a few that were more sporadic and done in his homage to people, he has a dark, sad, brooding nature that has information that he feels burdened by that he can't get rid of. He has power that he can't tell and act on, and he has knowledge that could hurt the people he wants to help with it. And he's
Certainly
aware of all that.
Certainly that to an extent, but I think the point I was making more was that when you understand World of Darkness and how batshit insane the setting is, you understand D, because D understands the setting that he's in. So, like, if you understand how screwed up the setting is, then you understand why D acts the way that he does. I think that was the point I was making here.
And the insanity is sometimes a cover, sometimes a defense mechanism, sometimes actually just him being batshit insane. But it's such a great character to
he is also just a man.
have those multiple layers to work through. I'm assuming that's where we're going to get to here, because this metaphor I'm going to miss altogether, because I have no idea what it is. I'm literally the person he's talking about right now.
But you'd be missing out a huge chunk of what it was exactly that made him such a well-known and remarkable figure for his
I've never
time.
seen this animation.
Once you understand the world that he lived in, you can also begin to understand why he's such a famous figure and why he's the only English monarch to ever be titled the Great.
Really?
This is why, in spite of him being the main reason I wanted to make this analysis in the first place, I've been able to get this far into it while barely even talking about D in any capacity. The world and setting he finds himself in are as much a contribution to how fascinating I find him as he himself is. If he wasn't part of World of Darkness or some other equally
remember that
grim
one.
universe, I
go
don't think
rewatch
he
it
would
then.
be nearly as noteworthy as he is.
Oh,
So,
the interview.
who is D? Unlike the other characters in the series,
Yeah, if D was part of like a not grimdark setting, I don't. Well, I wouldn't say that World of Darkness is particularly grimdark. It's gothic punk, but it's still a very dark setting. I think that if he was in like a more optimistic setting, like he would not work. He works because he's in a very he's in a setting where a lot of bad shit happens. That's part of why he works as well as he does.
who are near explicitly XPs of their TTS counterparts, it would be more accurate to call D a spiritual successor to the Emperor. This is alluded to in a number of ways, even an indirect one.
I mean, it's not even that it's fair to call it that. Alpha Busa explicitly called it that.
And I didn't
And-
listen. That
I guess you could say Boy and Kitten are probably the...
I try not. I typically like to avoid being too meta with my videos. I like to operate based on what I understand and not what like the word of God is. Basically, is what I'm going with that. I'm going to be completely honest with you though. I don't remember where I was going with this particular bit, so I'm actually kind of curious to know where exactly I'm headed with this one.
closest, minus Boy's biggest change is actually being in the family rather than being adopted in. And Kit's biggest change is he's not the encyclopedic know-it-all who is definitely in charge, and everyone else just has to realize it eventually. I know what I said. I'm standing by it. As opposed to what Kit, or I think it's still Kitten. Yeah,
we don't have a name for him.
It's a small change just on knowledge base there. These guys, more emotional. Less actually made horrible mistakes in the past, actually, is his biggest change.
Yeah, you say that.
Big D seems significantly different, but also because the Emperor was always mysterious enough that we couldn't really get the backstory. And what we got was
mints off the table and I caught them.
huge,
I'm so happy.
and probably still accurate.
From every other character being an XP as well, to his color scheme favoring gold, to him looking similar to the Emperor in his pre-Golden Throne state, to him being implied to be from a similar area in what is contemporary 21st century Turkey, to them both having a great many number of children and having a great deal of knowledge that very few of us are privy to. It's a very clear allusion to anyone who has seen both series, but outside of these things, that's kind of it. Once these are put aside, these are two radically different characters. Now granted, those are quite a few things, but they're pretty surface level things. The having Middle Eastern origins, or wearing gold, or bearing a visual similarity to the Emperor are quite basic things which ultimately serve more as nods to TTS more than anything else.
Admittedly, it's that line between XP and the spiritual successor. I would consider them all spiritual successors rather than XPs, because they're not copy and pasted. They're significantly different, but I think a lot of the reason he's going here is, while we've had episodes with some information about everyone, it's usually just in how they personally engage. And frankly, I love that, so I never really had a problem with it. But a lot of the lore and the backstory that's the most fascinating is Big D, so we've actually got more of the differences between him and what he was definitely based on. So he feels more like a successor as opposed to a direct copy and paste in with a few edited changes. It's the difference between the Aeneid to anything by Homer for the Trojan War. And yeah, I literally just forgot the name of the book Homer wrote about the Trojan War. I do not know why I forgot that.
It's the Odyssey.
Wow. I'm an English major. I just forgot an obvious book. This is embarrassing.
The Odyssey, you fool.
It's that difference of, this is something that came after, and it does a lot of homage to it, but it's not just a copy and paste. As opposed to 50 Shades of Grey being a copy and paste of fan fiction for Twilight, and somehow making Twilight look better by comparison. I know what I said.
We don't need to talk about it.
I know why I said it.
We don't need to talk about that. Stop talking about it.
Do not look up videos of me having read 50 Shades of Grey on stream, because I
you did? And
I'm disappointed that YouTube didn't suppress that video. It would have given me a reason not to make more. I just blocking that thought process. It doesn't happen. I have nothing I have to. No.
Interesting.
Nothing to think about there. I don't have to do it twice more still.
I bet he regrets mentioning this.
It's not like Kitten or Boy, where they're more or less direct reintroductions, or like Marcus or Dawn, where they're reimagined in a new setting. He diverges so radically from the Emperor in terms of his actual...
right. Okay, that's where I was going with that. Right, okay. So the point I was making was that Kitten and Boy are like more direct one-to-one copies. Marcus and Dor are more... there's a couple of steps removed, but they're still pretty similar, whereas these just almost a fundamentally different creature to the Emperor. That's the point I was going for with that. Okay, right, I remember now. Right. I think I might have used the term spiritual successor a bit loosely there then, I think. But like that's what I was going for.
Personality.
Does he though?
Bizarre to me to even compare the two all that much. He's entirely new. He is the de facto patriarch of the family, and their leader in engagements with the supernatural.
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure he does diverge from the Emperor that much.
Are you sure?
But also because what we were getting was a heavily filtered Emperor whose entire thought process was, oh god, what the fuck is going on now? This is someone who can still act, where it's almost like earlier version of him.
I mean, I would make the argument that a major difference is that Big D actually genuinely loves his sons, whereas the Emperor, even in TTS,
so much younger and hopeful. I can't say he doesn't act like the Emperor would. For all we know, it is. They just
There's
never
something
got to
blocking my
points where that
throat,
would come
something
up in
chronic.
TTS. Maybe if that had gone on longer, we would get more
Chronic fatigue. Hey, okay, I'll stop.
information about that. Or, another episode, and I would be fine with that. Just hurting myself to bring it up right now. Just hurting myself to bring it up. Yeah.
Having extensive experience and knowledge about the world beyond the mundane. There's a great number of things that I find to be deeply compelling about D. The first one being that he's near completely insane.
I love that I used that particular clip when talking about finding him. Well, past me was very funny, actually, I think, is what we're learning here. I think we're learning is that I need to pick up my game.
Yes.
You're what? All right, whatever. I don't respect the time. It's an earliest concert. Now listen up. All right.
Well, I play mage, so now I know that you can actually just choose not to respect time, that it is, in fact, an odious concept, so... There's egg on my face, I suppose.
Right, gremlins who I know live in the undercarriage of this bus. Shut it! I will be back soon. So do
The
not
best part
even
is they're probably
think
actually
about
worth
feeling
things living
sick.
down there.
Not think about feelings. It's such a good bit.
Minds, I'll kill you, necromancer.
What the
I'll kill
fuck is happening here?
Ah!
Think scream.
Yep.
Do you want to hear more Norfolk urban legends?
Of course. Sure, it sounds ridiculous to you, but so did walruses until we had photos of them. For fuck's sake, man! Tusks on a manatee.
Yep.
Your people's rejection of your own language is inspiring.
Fun being as it's true.
I will kill the queen. But yes!
What? D? D, what did you do?
Oh god, that was... This... Oh god, I don't remember if this happened, like, not too long after the queen died. Or if it... I think it might have been within, like... Oh, wait, no, I showed it. Yes, the 27th. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. That was such... Like, damn. Fellas, what have you done? What did you do? Look at it.
Holy shit, man.
What
I'm
did you
sorry.
do, T?
I knew about both these, but I didn't. Whenever the next video comes out, if they don't make a nod to this somehow, I would actually think that's probably a good choice because that is dark, man. Oh.
Thank you. I have a very blunt and dark sense of humor if you haven't
The
picked it up
second is that
yet.
he's very much a family man. He seems to deeply enjoy being a father and a grandfather in particular. He has a very friendly relationship with Kitten, referring to him as his son-in-law even when he and Marcus aren't actually married, and treats him like one of his own children. He
That he
enjoys
does. It's
family
real- it's
outings
nice.
and keeps extensive photo albums.
This might be a bit of a weird thing to praise Hunter the Parent. I wouldn't say weird, but how do I put this? I very much appreciate that the series is very much based around a family of men. How do I want to go about phrasing this? It's portraying male relationships in media is often a bit a bit of a tricky thing for what I would consider to be like a good depiction of it, because a lot of it mostly just boils down to two people being absolute pricks to one another, and in other cases it can also be a relationship between them, and that's fine. But there's a weird I enjoy the fact that it shows different sorts of male relationships. It shows genuine fatherly love towards it shows D showing genuine fatherly love towards his children. It shows Marcus and Kitten genuinely sorry, my throat. Genuinely loving one another. It shows brotherly love between Dor and Marcus. It shows fatherly love from a Dor towards boy. I think that the way that they've handled a lot of the male relationships in Hunter the Parenting are just so very wonderfully done in a way that I find to be very rare. I guess is the best way I can put it right now. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's definitely something that I do like about Hunter the Parenting. I don't know if that makes any amount of sense. I like the relationships, I guess would be the best way of putting it. They show like a closeness and a fondness for one another that I think a lot of other media would be a bit more hesitant to show between guys. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know how else to frame it.
He's very open with his affections, particularly towards Boy. Of course, that isn't to say he's perfect in this respect by any stretch of the imagination. Far from it. He is very capable of getting frustrated and angry with them at times, mostly when they screw up in major ways. Despite having these affections for his family, he's incredibly bad at actually showing it a lot of the time. He thinks incredibly highly of Marcus's intelligence, considering him to be a genius, but never actually tells him that directly. In fact, during the first arc, nearly all he does is verbally
This is such an interesting aspect to him as well. Like, put D in a room, and with his thoughts, he genuinely thinks incredibly highly of Marcus. I love that. That's such a nice change from like just considering him an idiot. That was how it was framed a lot in TTS as well, where like Magnus was like, he was smart but not wise, and that's the same thing that Marcus has as well. But the way that D conveys that is very different.
Ride Marcus's intelligence due to really trying not to spoil here. Marcus making a terrible, terrible decision that he had no way of knowing would backfire in as spectacular a manner as it did end up doing.
Yes.
You know, I was going to say something, but I'm going to respect the initial impetus of this entire video and not say a word, because if you've got to this point and you haven't seen this show, go watch it. Also, I will probably fuck up and say something spoilery after this, so...
Yep, agreed. If you haven't watched Home to the Parenting, I genuinely don't know how the hell you've ended up here. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. And I probably should have said this sooner, but go watch it again, now. Stop watching this. Go watch it again. It's great. Go. Leave me. Afuera. Go. Watch it. It's so good.
That's the advance warning.
I will single-handedly drag this thing into the freaking public spotlight if that's what it takes. Go. Go. Leave. Afuera. I need to keep an ego in check.
I will do it because I know me. I do that kind of shit.
Because D wouldn't tell him anything about the situation at hand.
But I'm having a lot of
particular
fun.
is a source of friction between Marcus and D. In both scenarios, though, both are presented as having very valid points. Which brings me on to my third point, which is the second most compelling thing about him to me.
They're still acting as family.
Despite the sheer madness he displays, D is clearly deeply intelligent. Vampires in World of Darkness will hunt down any breach in their security with extensive vigor. If you know the names of their various clans, for instance, or you say them aloud, or there is even a hint that you know about their existence, this is known as the Masquerade. So while D knows about the names of, for example, the various vampire clans, he teaches his sons to use aliases instead of their actual names, to keep them safe. This gets demonstrated in the very first episode, where Kitten refers...
When I realized what he was doing, once I learned a bit about vampire law, and I realized that this was what D was doing, like, I think that was one of the things that made me go, ah, okay, it's going to be one of those series. Like, I think that was just such a really fun and neat touch. I really like this aspect of D's character. Forgive me for having a bit of an ego, but I do think I might be one of the first people who vocalized that. There's almost certainly people in the comments were like, yeah, I get it. And there's probably Reddit threads, but I don't use Reddit because Reddit's a hellhole. So I'm sure that people mentioned it. But I think that I was one of the first. Then again, I think I was one of the first people who made a video essay on Hunter the Parenting. So I might have a slight edge on that, I suppose. But yeah, I think that I do. That is what he's doing. I really love that aspect of D's personality, and forgive me, but I'm quite pleased that I noticed it myself. To be honest. It's such a good
vampires
detail.
They track down by these aliases, such as calling a Nosferatu a sludge lad. This allows them to identify different kinds of vampires while not risking breaching the masquerade in such a way as to warrant them being hunted down. D also openly admits this to Kitten in an audio log when he asks.
Sludge lad?
No, he also did that as well. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot that he did this. It's been a bit. I may have inflated my own ego a little bit. Whoops. Oh boy, oh no, I'm showing myself here. Ugh. But,
Not the right term, is it?
yeah, no, oops, I may have
It's
shown
actually
my
a
ass
pretty
there.
clever way of getting
Uh-oh.
around the dangers associated with masquerade breaches.
Whoops.
While
Huh. Honestly, I thought that was just them working off ignorance, but I guess that does make more sense when looked at this way. It's a different interpretation, and I'm not entirely sure that was right or not. I mean, for Big D, it's definitely accurate. I have no doubt in that. But I was under the impression, especially for Kitten, that no, this is what he thought was accurate, not that he was intentionally misusing an alias.
Oh no, he did know that. He did know that, as far as Kitten was aware at that time, it was accurate. Then then they interact with the vampires a bit, and it became clear that no, that is definitely not what is happening.
Although the point Cosmic is making is that Big D is doing intentionally wrong issues. Although I think in his case, he's intentionally allowing wrong information to go out because that's safer than having the right
Yes.
information out.
That's
But then also
exactly
led
it.
into the issues with Marcus as well, so it makes sense.
still giving them enough to work on, identify their enemies, and plan accordingly around them. A Nosferatu vampire, a Grangel vampire, and a Tremere vampire are all distinct and can possess different abilities. So giving them fake
excuse me.
identifications is a good way of being able
Why do I always make such weird noises when I'm trying to record something? This happens constantly.
to identify the threats that each poses without having to risk them being hunted for breaching the masquerade. The sheer degree to which this is necessary is demonstrated in another audio log, where he has to play a mental game of wits and harmonize various conflicting testimonies given to the police while being unsure if the officer he's being interviewed by is a ghoul or not, a ghoul being a sort of human servant for vampires. For all his absolute madness, it is very evident that
Again, one of those moments that might be spoilery. This right here is such a deep dive episode into everything going on in Big D's head that it is one of the most fascinating internal monologues I've ever heard on YouTube in general. Mostly because, frankly, I haven't heard many good internal monologues in general. Usually they get very washed out when read out loud. Usually you just get more down in writing, but that's just because they don't
Yeah, it's how do I frame it? It's good because it's not only just an internal monologue, it's helping to forward the plot, I guess, while also Hunter the Parenting's writing is so good because it's doing so many different things at the same time. It is astonishing how good the writing is, to be honest. I don't think that there's a whole lot of shows, like in general, that have as good and multi-layered a writing style as Hunter the Parenting. I do genuinely believe it's one of the best, unquestioningly.
translate that well to make interesting TV or interesting YouTube videos. Somehow, though, that format doesn't have that issue with everything Alpha Boosa has done.
Yeah.
So we get moments like this where so much of it is just writing appearing on the screen and Big D reading out his over-the-top voice, but then getting very...
Oh yeah, to be clear, Speaker D's, let's be honest, phenomenal voice acting is helping a lot as well. But I do think the writing on its own is just... So many factors have gone into Hunter the Parenting that, like... It's just astonishing, really. It is nothing short of a small miracle that it works as well as it does. What the... I'm just going to keep my hands on my lap, I think, is the best way to avoid all of these noises.
very serious to show his intensity. And that's one of the way, because the vocal acting in the show was carrying a lot of water that other shows would put onto the action and the flash, the pizzazz that most of the on-screen images would cover. It actually works really well. Could not translate to TV, but it works on YouTube because the medium is accepted by the audience it already has.
that D isn't
absolutely.
actually insane. At least not to the extent that he can't perceive reality. Highly eccentric and flawed for certain, but he knows what he's doing. Throughout this particular interview, which is one of my favorite pieces of this series, we see D's thought processes in action, in how he deals with the officer, and it's a glimpse into how he views the world. He's able to think ahead,
dark.
come up with convincing lies,
It's
using the
aware
truth
of the darkness.
just enough to add credibility to his story,
And just to
while
throw
also
darkness in a
attempting
third
to
time.
harmonize conflicting testimonies
Has a
his
dark
family
tone.
have given about the situation, and also knowing exactly who made what mistakes in their stories based on the nature of them. He's able to figure out that Kitten made the incident in question seem like a well-natured affair which goes against what Dee would have rathered. He can also tell who chooses the wrong words or when Marcus is going down the path that he wants him to. And throughout all of this, I
must admit as well, I do love that this audio log showed that not only does Dee have a lot of faith in Marcus, but like he does genuinely value his intelligence. It's just nice. It's really nice. It just puts a smile on my face. I love it.
Just as eccentric and loud and roundabout and bonkers as he is throughout the rest of the series.
If you act crazy,
there is a
people
rhyme
ignore you.
and reason to what
And it
he's
worked.
doing. One small thing that I do find interesting about this whole interview, he assumes another person's identity. The issue is he takes the identity of someone who is reported as missing by a woman named Caitlin. The guess is that this is their mother, but it's actually their sister. This is a very subtle thing, but he refers to it as him having made a mistake, which I disagree with. I mean, sure, the person whom he's pretending to be, a vampire wizard by the name of Kevin, is locked in his makeshift prison. We'll get to that. It's not what it looks like, I promise.
Are we sure about that?
To be fair,
Are we sure it's not exactly what it looks like? Because
I mean, there's
they
an
got
ambiguity.
a bromance going on, all right.
It's a little ambiguity.
Asked him in order
I'll
to
admit.
prepare better, though the sequence of events that followed wouldn't have given him enough time to do so, and he had no reason to suspect that he would be taken in by the police. But in World of Darkness, you only really get one chance. If you mess up, you are going to become vampire dinner. But the reason I don't call this a mistake is this. He knows only a little about Kevin's personal life. He had no way of knowing that he had a sister, and in the world of the mundane, at this point in time, people need a mother in order to be actually born. Maybe they're not involved in the person's life in any real...
What?
All right. Okay. So a lot of people were very confused about the way I framed this. There was a couple of reasons why I said this. First one is that well, first of all, in World of Darkness, you can't just straight up clone someone. That is completely an option. But the second reason was trans people, basically, because of how like being trans works. I guess it is very possible for a man to become pregnant. In 2006, trans people were essentially fucking invisible, which was bullshit. But that's the world in which we live in. It's gotten better on that front, but explaining, I felt like explaining that in this video would have been a bit of a divergence that I wasn't super okay with making, but that was what was going on in my head essentially. People have taken this, and it also was part of how I write my scripts. I try and write them as I fully believe with every fiber of my soul that we are going that one day people, we're not going to have issues with trans people. We're not going to have issues with like race, that kind of shit. I fully believe that one day this is all just going to be cast to the dustbin of history, and that humanity will have thrived for far longer than we've ever had these problems. And in my head, the way I write my scripts is I try and write them in such a way that if someone dug up one of my videos in an archive and watched it, they would be able to comprehend what I'm talking about. So in future, when I talk about these subjects as well, I will be doing like a quick rundown on the concept. But this video just didn't allow for that. So this was why I talked about it in a very roundabout way. But also, again, yeah, no, cloning is just like a thing you can do in World of Darkness. But the majority of people in World of Darkness aren't aware of that. So that was where that was all going.
He had no way of knowing that he had a sister, and in the world of the mundane, at this point in time, people need a mother in order to be actually born.
At this time, they need a mother. What the hell happened in later New World of Darkness that became a thing that he had to clarify was that this time? I mean, it could just be rhetorical flourish right now, and I'm going to hope for that one, because that is getting really Krieg on us, and that is kind of fucked up.
No, it was accurate. Krieg was a Krieg. They can do a Krieg very easily. New World Order has the New World Order has that by the truckloads. Like that's the least bad thing that they're doing. Anyway, do I go into what my logic for this was?
Involved in the person's life in any real way, but they still gave birth to them. Everyone having a birth mother is the one certainty he can rely on. Not everyone has a sister. I wouldn't call this a mistake. I'd call...
Yeah, that was the point I was making. From Dee's perspective, he's pretending to be Kevin Wetsworth. He hears about a Caitlin Wetsworth. He doesn't know that Kevin has a sister, so he makes the best possible guess that they're talking about Kevin's mother, which I think, like, all the information he has available to him, if that was the correct decision. Like, that was like, based on the information he had, he made the best possible choice that he could have. It was the correct decision to make, even though it ended up being the incorrect answer.
All this the best guess he could make with the information he had to hand.
Sister might
it was
be
the
too obvious,
intelligent
too.
move to make, even if it ended up being wrong. But this is later reflected upon in the very next audio log. What Dee experienced is something of a microcosm with what he puts his sons through in the previous episodes. Dee didn't have enough information about Kevin's family and made a mistake that nearly cost him dearly. Marcus didn't have enough information on, again trying not to spoil here, the situation he was in, so he made a mistake that nearly cost him dearly.
Although, let's put the blame where it's at. It wasn't just Marcus. Dor was just as involved in this one and very much in favor of it.
You know,
Shows off the
absolutely. That was not
contemplative
a purely Marcus decision, and the series has gone on to reflect very much so that while Marcus did get the brunt of the blame in the moment, it was very much a joint decision. They both messed up pretty badly there.
If he just told them the information, if things might turn out better. He comes across as deeply conflicted and introspective in a way that only someone burdened by the full knowledge of the threat that he and his children face in the world of darkness can be. I just find him deeply fascinating and well written a character for all of this. But what I find perhaps the most interesting thing about Dee isn't necessarily any of that. It's actually two things in particular that sell him as a character to me. In one audio log...
I'm going to take a wild guess, because I have an idea what might be the more interesting things. Part of it might actually be the moment on screen right now. The parts where Big D second guesses, where he doubts himself, where he confronts his own actions. Something the Emperor never could do.
Yeah.
Mostly because he was a shattered psyche, and the parts of him that were actually screaming to do something different were literally not present. And partially because...
Now I'm just remembering that bit where, the Shi'ar of the Emperor is, screaming at him to send the Ultramarines to take on the Tau. Oh, I need to watch a TTS again. It's been far too long.
The entire character was comedic most of the time, where this one, Big D, is comedic most of the time, but the times he isn't are very humanizing and introspective to such a degree that they are incredibly poignant. That would be one point. The other one is probably that he is absolutely batshit insane, but he said that was the less interesting one. I have no idea what the second one is then. I mean, for me, it was the batshit, but that's just because I like the wacky.
In particular,
I do like the wacky.
He's an optimist and that he's hilarious. But that hilarity comes from the fact that he is an optimist.
Exactly.
The audio log in question, it's called The Probing of Kevin, and it's the one that...
I'm very much an optimist, if you haven't figured that out, and I am so tired of having so many depressing characters on screen. Dee is unique because he is just such a relentless optimist, and I really, really love that.
Fully sold me on Hunter the Parenting, perhaps even more so than...
You know what? I never actually thought of him as an optimist that way, but I guess when you look at...
I don't know how. I'm going to be honest with you, Airier. I genuinely have no idea how you could look at this madman and not think that this is some bastion of Come on.
At it as he would be willing to make deals, spoiler, with Kevin at all, that he was willing to see the best in someone and not what that someone was, is very much an interesting aspect that can't exist in 40K, even when it does exist in TTS. Here, though, Big D actively was trying to come to an agreement and got it and embraced someone who probably by all rights should have been their mortal enemy. Hell, started that way.
It's so good.
Yeah, I guess I could see how this would be considered optimism. It literally wasn't something I ever considered, but when you put it...
He believes in the opportunity for even someone like Kevin to change for the better. And that is genuinely such a powerful thing in World of Darkness in particular. That is extreme. And it's great.
It in such an obvious way, it does make sense. I can see where Cosmic is going with this one.
Any of the actual episodes. As a bit of a lead up into this, Kevin is a vampire wizard whom the family captured in the very first episode. Kevin was brought to be interrogated by Dee, who mostly just talks with him for the most part, and they get one hell of a good rapport going. They bounce off one another incredibly well and actually seem to quite like one another. As a side note, compared to his sons, Dee is actually relatively civilized in his interrogation. I mean, he does smack Kevin with a pan a couple of times, but like 83.7% of the time, Kevin does have it coming.
And I just realized the reason why. With his sons, he's trying to protect them so that they don't get effed over. Kevin is already in the position where it's too late to worry about that. He has got the target on his back because of everything that has happened, because of the groups he's joined. He is already in the position where the thing that Big D wants to protect his kids from is already going to go after Kevin. So Big D doesn't have to hide as much. He can just be himself.
See, I didn't actually think of that from that perspective. But, like, Airier makes an extremely good point, actually. With Kevin, things are more equal. He doesn't have to hide any of this. Kevin's already in the know. So, like, they can just shoot the shit. Like, that's... I didn't really think of it from that perspective. And I kind of forgot that Airier mentioned this within this reaction. But, like, no, this is a really interesting and good point, I think. That's really good.
To a much greater extent and just talk about things. He's still hiding a lot, obviously, but it's to a much lesser extent. I guess it makes it more relaxing in general for him.
Yeah, they're just vibing.
It's like, yeah, you're already in a really bad, shitty situation, so I can't really make it worse. Neat.
Yeah, they're just hanging out.
You're an up-and-coming landlord. Lord is out. Housing should not be a commodity.
Based. But they just talk for the most part. First about mundane things like jobs, housing, economic insecurity, and the likes, which is actually a far more effective method of interrogation than torture, since it's more reliable and requires an acknowledgement of the subject's humanity. I bring this up because I do not...
just to clarify that point, the problem with torture is that you will tell people anything they want to hear to make pain stop. That is why anything under torture is inherent.
It's also a part of that, another funny area face. But I think the point that I was making is that people who are being treated like shit, they tend not to want to help you very much. People are a lot more likely to be willing to help you if you acknowledge that they are like a person, essentially. It's fucking wild how that works, isn't it? Like, who could have seen that coming? Like, wow, what a shocker.
Inherently useless, because anytime you put into it, would be better just to ask someone else.
But yes,
also who doesn't know that they're being interrogated. You know, just randomly go out and look at something.
It's like there's literally
because if you're torturing someone, they will.
There is literally no benefit whatsoever to torture. Literally, the only reason you would ever torture someone, like, is just because makes you feel fucking tough. Like, wow, what a tough man. Tough gender nondescript. You know the point I'm making. It's like, wow, how tough are you picking a fight with someone who can't fight back? What? How impressive of you? How very impressive.
Tell you whatever you want to hear. You want to get someone to confess that they killed Adolf Hitler in the 1900s? And I don't mean the 1900s as in that century. I mean maybe seconds after the Big Bang. 1900 seconds in. I have no idea how many minutes because I can't do math. Yeah, sure. They will admit to that. They will say that they're Godzilla writing Abraham Lincoln and how...
I'm going to be honest with you, but he's kind of lost me here. I don't know where he's going with any of this. I don't know how we got to Hitler, Godzilla, Lincoln thing. What's happening?
That works out. Well, Abraham Lincoln's hat just got really big, and we're not going to do any innuendo on that one. And someone will fully say and convince themselves it's real and tell you what they believe is the truth at that point.
Oh, right, that's the point
stop.
He's making. Okay,
so
right.
Biggie's actually doing a really good interrogation because he's not doing the TV told me that this is cool moment.
Right, yeah, he's making the point that, like, if you wanted someone to, like, confess to that under torture, then, like, they would eventually crack and just tell you that just to make... Yeah, okay, that's the point he's making. Right, so yeah, they literally, there's no benefit to torture. Just don't. If you're doing torture, you're either fucked in the head or you're an idiot. It's one of the two. There's literally no other reason for it. it's like, that's why like I don't like it being in media. Like, spare me this fucking bullshit about it being some sort of necessary evil. It's not. If anything, you're enabling the evil. Just spare me. Own up to it at the very fucking least.
Because so many idiots believe it's real.
I believe that Dee's doing this unintentionally. Kevin, for the record, is my favorite character in the series.
Really?
He's an
Is,
absolute
boy.
delight.
Well, honestly, these days he's tying with Grimmel, but like it's like it goes Kevin, Grimmel, and maybe D. Like it, but like these three are fighting it out for first place. Like it is. We're talking like degrees of maybe 1 or 2% between them. They are so good.
Adore him. He's a
Haven't seen him
very
enough to really
average
make
guy.
a choice about that.
In his human life, he was an accountant, the most horrifying job I can conceive of because fuck numbers. And
Yes.
Agreed.
that skill is part of why he was valuable to his clan, since he could use his knowledge of finance to help them achieve their goals undetected. In addition, he maintains huge ties to his human life, including owning an apartment, pretending to be alive so no one thinks he's gone missing, and also has a cat.
Let me break free so I can go home and feed my cat.
Wait, you have a cat?
Oh no, I totally but Mr. Smurfles.
Purples.
See, this is why I
That's
love
such a
this
good
guy.
name.
This goes in
Mr.
direct opposition to the
Smurfles.
fact that he's aligned himself with a group called the Sabbat, essentially vampire supremacists, or according to another,
We are Cainite naturalists.
who reject their
Yeah.
humanity and want to overthrow the masquerade and treat humans as livestock. In comparison to them, and even the rest of Dee's family, Kevin is just so normal. And more than
Yeah.
that, in spite of literally being a vampire wizard, he's the most human out of anyone. His conversation is a bit of a bizarre one where Kevin is defending concepts like taxes and the merit of vegetables, while
This was such an interesting piece right here because the interrogation itself highlighted that this is a man tied up, chained up, a vampire who's got his eyes gouged out, is stripped down, is beat to shit. He's got his captor who's this probably maybe immortal, maybe human. I don't know.
No one
I
knows.
don't think anyone does at this point because it's
Not
still
yet.
mysterious.
My bet is on the
Interrogating him
mummy.
after all this crazy stuff have gone down, and they're arguing about the most mundane aspects for so much of it. And the dichotomy there is absolutely fascinating,
It's
seeing
so
how their
good.
minds work on normal
It's
day-to-day
so
things.
Good.
It might not work for everyone, but frankly, I found that absolutely fascinating, seeing how they would latch on to certain things to show their personality. And
No, see, this is why me and Airier get along. Like we're both very much on the same page here. Like I am. Like, it's I could wax lyrical for hours. It's just so good. I do not know where the hell these people like got their writing lessons from, but like I desperately want to like have those lessons. It's so good.
now, like he said, this
I'm having
Kevin was
so
the
much
most
fun.
human because he really did kind of fit with the most normal interpretation of humanity, where Big D could fit with a more classical human, the more Romanesque, I killed everyone else so they can't say it's not mine anymore attitude. Yeah, that sounds pretty much like what the Roman Empire did.
Pax Romana.
We came, we saw, we stole, and some people might have survived, and we're mistaken about that.
They come, they burn, they pillage, and this they mistakenly call empire. Probably butchered that quote, but that was a quote from a Roman senator. And yep, that about sums it up.
Dee argues against them. The vampire is defending human civilization while the human rails against it. Dee even says that by all rights he should stake Kevin for the sun to claim him, but he can't actually bring himself to do it. He even suggests that Kevin join him in his goals. During that entire sequence, this exchange happens.
Ooh.
Why would I serve the first murderer when I can kill him?
Oh yeah, the Cain vet.
Cain is the first vampire in World of Darkness. He was cursed by the Abrahamic God, which, you know, thanks, God. That's what the rest of us needed, to be hunted.
Admittedly, from what I've been told, Cain is pretty chill.
Oh yeah, no, he
Sometimes.
relatively, yeah. It's
At
just
least
that
in this.
it's just he chose to embrace others, and then those people were fucking lunatics. So, you know, thanks, great. This has worked out fantastic then.
Setting. Also, the entire stat sheet is you.
I heard he's like a cab driver in like Las Vegas or something, or is that Satan? Because he's also doing that. World of Darkness is so it's so insane. I love it. It lets me say insane sentences like that. It's great.
Lose.
Yeah, no.
Hunted down by vampires and literally eaten alive so you could spite Kane.
Yeah, his
great.
successor is not
Wonderful.
so chill.
Thank you. And Kevin is not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form. This is not a joke. Someone once made a character sheet that aptly describes the situation with Kane. You fucking lose.
Ooh, better.
This isn't some, maybe there's a secret.
Health, not really hurt at all, not really hurt at all, not really hurt at all. Only a flesh wound. The fact that you can get that far is more than I'm expecting.
Yeah, no kidding.
Blood pool.
It's just infinite.
Merits and flaws don't matter. Humanity, 1. Huh. Willpower. I can't see any dots on that one. Player, Varen. Nature, Trickster. Generation, First. Sire, God. Demeanor, Curmudgeon. Chronicle, yours. Sorry.
But what if he went up against... No.
Horrible parenting
you cannot
skills.
kill Kane. This is a law of reality. If you have 2 apples, and I give you 2 other apples, you do not spontaneously materialize 10 additional apples. You have 4. This is a law of reality. You cannot break it.
Well, then again, the mages probably could do that, but you know, when the mages can like mess around with a bunch of stuff. I wish I knew more about mage when I made this video, because this was before I really got into mage.
Just like you cannot kill Kane.
I mean, I know enough about wizard so that, or sorry, not wizard, mages in this setting.
Yeah, no.
Reality is more malleable on this one.
Yeah.
Here's D, just brushing all of that off. He's incredibly confident in his ability to, in this case, quite literally defy reality and God. This isn't even the first time chronologically he's done this, though. He's done this with mages in the audio log prior to the probing of Kevin. Mages in World of Darkness are... how do I put this? Okay. So
Audio
you know
log
the
for
concept
mages?
of a creator god?
Oh, I knew more about.
Just
I
make
knew more about it than I
because
thought
they
I
want to.
remembered.
Mages are that powerful. Near infinite power to alter
Yep,
reality with their
that's
thoughts and
mages
wills.
for you.
And people have told me that they've explicitly kicked God out of heaven, who might also not be this one, but is this one, and it's weird. And God is a machine sometimes he's not.
That's Chronicles.
There's a lot of different settings, and some work better together than others. I don't know what the hell's going on half the time. It probably makes sense to someone. I'm not that someone.
It makes sense to me now.
Other than mages are broken.
Oh, they're so broken.
Really fun.
They're so broken.
Characters.
It's so good.
Also, apparently they're having a war on the moons of Saturn and Jupiter using portals. Of what relevance is this? None whatsoever, but I'll be damned if I talk about mages without bringing up the moon hopping wars. Anyway, yes,
Hell yeah.
mages gods. You gonna cry about it? No, you're not. Do you want to know why? Because a mage decided you don't have tear ducts anymore. You can't cry about it. Fuck you. And D sums it up by basically saying...
We're such a nerd you can easily punch.
D, are you fully aware of the power they possess?
Oh, actually, they can warp reality with their wheels and brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fully aware.
Oh, yes, yeah, infinite power to
He's
alter
aware of it.
creation.
Oh, yes, apparently. All right. He does this with practically everything.
I mean, from what I've heard, though, the oh shit, you've already lost ability is so high level that it is hard to reach. And also earlier level, punching them is a good choice.
You need to be a bit...
Generally,
you do need
much
to
more
practice being a mage.
Wow.
But
Actionable than anything else.
once you're past the basic stages of mage, you're... punching them becomes a bit of a, let's call it, occupational hazard. Let's call it that.
Except for werewolves, who immediately start out at such a high level by comparison to what everyone else gets up to eventually, that high level, everyone broken. High level mage, broken. High level werewolf, broken. Early level mage, squishy. Early level werewolf, still broken.
Oh yeah, no. Fledgling mage versus a freshly, I've forgotten the word for it. For first shit. Young werewolf we'll go with versus young mage. Werewolf flatlines them. They are just gone. Also, another funny area face. He's, again, expressive guy. I don't know what you want from me.
Been explained to me. I haven't played werewolf.
And it does frankly come across as absolutely insane. D acts absurdly a lot, but it's clear he knows what he's doing, that he has his plans, that he's fully aware of the dangers around him. In fact, shortly after his comments on wizards, the conversation between him and Kitten turns to werewolves, and when Kitten suggests that they might be able to take on a werewolf, D completely drops any and all pretense and becomes brutally serious.
Yeah.
And this is actually something really interesting. This is one of those audio logs
This was so good.
that had come off most of Big D being crazy, had most of his characterization being over the top and insane, and admittedly, really freaking fun for that.
Oh, yeah.
But breaking character here, having him become serious, because there was that bit of information he thought was so important that he needed to tell them. This moment right here, it might not be the first time, because I'm pretty sure there had to be one I missed prior to this, but it's the one that stood out to me the most because
I think this was the first
this
time,
showed
actually.
Big D without the mask, without hiding.
Yeah, it was just a moment where like he realized he could not just fuck around anymore. Like he had to be just like blunt, direct. No, do not fuck with werewolves.
His knowledge without
It was
this
so
is insane
good.
moments.
This
And
series
it
is so
frankly
good.
holds so much water.
God, I
as
miss
it is a
talking
great
about it.
establishing moment.
I miss
I
talking
heard they're
about it
tough.
so much.
But with how well we did in the tunnels against those vampires, I'm confident that...
No,
What?
Oh, it's so
you aren't
good.
ready to fight a werewolf, son-in-law. Not yet. The fledglings we fought were fearsome, yes, but a werewolf... Listen well. Werewolves are killing machines. They are supernatural soldiers fighting a war we barely
And he's aware of the
understand.
war because of that too.
Yep.
Do not fight them.
So good.
These are major contradictions that occur from sentence to sentence in some cases. Then the scene happens. If you're familiar with Hunter
here
the
we go.
Parenting and the probing of Kevin, you already know exactly which scene I mean. And if you don't, then there are no words that I can say that will describe this
Spoilers
scene
incoming.
without just allowing it to play in its entirety.
What is more liberating? The band of monsters forcing you to erase
I
your
love
humanity?
this sequence
The
so
maniacal
much.
sorceress tossing you aside like a rag doll? Or rejecting both? To face the world down, head to head, and dare it to stop you? The freedom that comes from either worthy death or triumphant victory.
Allow me to tell you a parable. A parable about one named Kevin Westworth. Kevin was born in
I really
Ipswich
wish that
to
I'd...
a
I wish I'd have been able to record my original reaction to this because, like, I remember just watching this and just being aghast at it, like just straight up staring at the damn thing, just like, just wow! It just all came to a head at that moment. It's God, I love this series so
Glass
much.
family. His parents were devout followers of the status quo and primed him with all the tools necessary.
I've
to lead a
memorized
pleasant,
this speech. I could recite it from
stagnant,
memory.
Unexceptional life. Kevin became an accountant, about the only field in which he truly excelled.
I'll be honest, there's a lot of moments here that stood out to me more than this one, but that's just personal taste, probably.
Heretic.
But hearing this again, it does highlight the major difference. Not just that he's the most human, it's that tonal shift from Big D's grandiosity down to Kevin just saying, like, okay, bring it down to reality, man. Which, admittedly, is weird in a fantasy, urban fantasy, whatever setting in general. So it stands out quite well for that.
But his dream was always to accomplish something more. So he broke away from his life in the suburbs, moved a bit further north. He decided he will make it big. He will do something with his life. He failed. And so,
I've watched so many reactions of Hunter the Parenting, and I'm always fascinated by people who get to this stage, because so many of them just like we all have the same reaction. We just stop what we're doing and we just give Kevin our full, undivided attention. It's fantastic. It's just such a good piece of dialogue.
Kevin got a job as an accountant in Great Yarmouth. But Kevin never gave up. Don't you understand? Kevin may have been trapped in the mire. He may have been an uninspiring person trapped in a dead-end job.
Yep.
His dreams and aspirations might have been dying, but they weren't dead. Not completely.
It's the perfect way to
He was going to make
humanize
his
someone
name.
like him.
He was going to make rent every week.
It's so good.
Oh, yep. Now we're at the part where I remember I don't like thinking about this one. Because as inspiring as this sounds, that someone failed and got up and tried again, it ends with Kevin saying, and then it got worse after he managed to pull himself together, and now there's no chance.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I like the ending of it, because, spoilers, Big D gives him an out to get that bit of optimism back. Which is...
It captures what... That's another funny... Every single time I pause with this guy, I swear I'm not even trying to do it at this point. It catches World of Darkness's strengths from both ends, right? Because, like, from the one end, you get someone like Kevin who does all of this. He's got his plans. He's getting it together. And then it's just gone because he got embraced. But hell, not even that. You have to die to be able to be embraced. So, like, something just happened. Then he got brought back. And, like, in his mind, it's just like, oh, now I'm in this state. I just cannot, like, accomplish what I wanted to. Like, that's gone. I don't even get to be dead, so I didn't even get to think about that. And then D comes in and gives him, like, the helping hand. It's just...
Probably why he mentioned Big D as an optimist. That's one of the things Cosmic likes about him. Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense in this context.
There you
go. He was going to move up, see the world. He was going to do something, anything, to make people know his name. And then Kevin died. And now you know the rest.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Well, perhaps I know a part, but neither of us know the ending.
Spare me your optimism. It was stolen from me along with my life. You cannot know the feeling of the embrace. To wake one day, your skin cold, your heart still, ravenous, inhuman. But once there was a world, friends, colleagues. Now there is only prey and treachery. This story comes to no good end. I cannot follow my dreams. I must scrounge to stay alive or sane. I cannot remain human any longer. My only hope is to embrace a shadow of this dream. To embrace the beast. And hope freedom is on the other side.
Okay, this is actually something I missed early on. But as he was speaking, they changed his painting to make it less.
The shadow of this dream.
The mouth just disappears.
To embrace the beast.
The brow goes down, and then he just fully turns into... All you see is a bit of fang through the mouth. Kind of surprised I missed that, but I guess I was focusing on this too much.
On the other side.
Freedom never comes through surrender.
Such a good line.
Perhaps not. That's the only chance I have left.
If you truly believe that, there is little that can be done. The sad quirks of circumstance will see you degenerate into a monster and die as one.
See, this is a thing as well that, like, really fits a character like D. Like, he's right. Freedom never comes through surrender. There's always a way out. But if you end up like Kevin, and you end up thinking the way that he was in this moment, like, you can't do anything. Like, it's, to an extent, it's on him. But Dee's got this quality about him that inspires people to, like, make the attempt, even if it's against all sense. That's how he manages to convince Kevin to join him. It's just so... You can't do this without being an optimist. You just can't. And it's just so refreshing and so good.
But if you so choose, there may be a chance to claw your way out from this.
He can't force Kevin to do anything.
Find a different path.
But he inspires him to. It's so
This really was a damn good episode.
Yeah, it was.
Just going to put this on the list of things I need to rewatch, right up there with TTS.
Yeah.
Even just the audio design that Crow is highlighting is specifically right... Wow, Crow. Sorry, Cosmic. I have different people in my mind who use the
How dare
keywords.
you? How dare some crimes? This crime will be answered
just
for.
that little way that D is talking much more seriously. and that you could hear the moments of him walking forward, the step, the clinking of the chains as he's unlocking it, giving the option to do something different, to break what Kevin was expecting had to be the truth.
Exactly. Also, and like, yeah, this series audio work is so good. Like, I don't think that it gets enough praise, and it gets plenty of praise. And that means that you need to praise it more. It's such it elevates it on their own. These are like genuinely fantastic pieces of, but like just those small additional details, the little rattling of the chains, the fact that you can hear the footsteps. It just it's so good. It's like it reaches a point where like I'm watching it and like I'm getting kind of angry about how good it is because I'm just like, well, what's the fucking point of competing with this? Oh, ignore that. It's like, what's the point? They've won. What more could you possibly ask of someone? Like, you know what I mean?
Sound of the door unlocking.
Yep.
Only rise and take it.
This wasn't good.
It's moments like this that make a character like D. It's what makes him unique, and what made me actually want to go over his character like this. He does not live in a fair world, far from it. He's faced with tragedy and brutality on a regular...
Oh, this episode.
This poor woman.
Earlier I referenced the really dark, brooding episodes where the mask is off, and this was an homage episode done out of personal loss. And frankly, commenting on it on my end feels wrong because there was much more personal emotion invested into this by the people working on it than just a YouTube video on its own, just a part of the series.
Yeah.
This episode was dark and sad and had no real villains and only victims that he just had to let have their end.
Even then, like at the end as well, like obviously like there's the real world element to it, but like I like to think that there is a bit of D in this in that episode, and like I think that it does show like the true kindness that he has. That like he was willing to just sit with this woman while she waited for the end to come. I think that that's just such a human, such a kind thing to do.
That was a sad one.
Yeah.
Poignant and beautiful, but terrible for it.
Yeah.
And he's aware of it because he's bringing it up.
Regular basis. He's seen it firsthand. We see it firsthand throughout the series. It's a brutal world, an absurd world, and yet Dee speaks with such certainty, such confidence, and such regard for humanity and the world as a whole that the only word I can think to use to describe it is regal. Dee acts like a madman. When he drops the act though and gets serious, Dee showcases an optimism and humanity that's hard not to be enraptured by. He displays incredible acts of kindness, like listening to an old woman turn vampire as they wait for the sun, the woman choosing to let it claim her. He'll make insane claims, from running gags like the belief that a blender should cost 99 pence due to his belief in humanity's progress, to the idea that Kevin can regain his humanity in a world where he can live the life he wants without fear, to the idea that he can kill Kane. I can't claim to have any idea what these goals actually are because I'm making this before we truly know.
On the one hand, yeah, you can make those claims. On the other hand, I think his analysis is pretty accurate to how the character has been portrayed so far.
I thank you.
Unless a radical shift happens, and that's entirely possible.
Meh.
It does seem like that's what he's going to. Regal, I wouldn't go so much regal because of his specific hatred of monarchy and controlling systems, but
you mean how he killed the queen? That's what you're saying.
noble in spirit,
Noble's
chivalrous
a good way.
in his own interpretation of what is owed might be a better way to look at it, just because formerly Regal would probably be there. I would not be surprised if he was Regal if he was invested in those systems at some point, and that probably led to why he hates it now so vehemently as part of his overt insanity.
That's a bit more of a literal interpretation than what I was going for. I was going more for like a rhetorical flair. Like you hear the word regal and you think elegant, graceful, knowledgeable, that kind of thing. But that's that's what I was going for with him. With that, even.
Whether that's real or not, put on as an act or not, I don't know. And frankly, I would normally assume that it's only partially an act, because that makes it more interesting when it's slightly true. Flat out lies are boring because you can disregard them.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But when you work truth, it makes something so much more fascinating.
Maybe he's a mercy hunter. Maybe his plan is to do with Cain what he wants to do with Kevin. Make them re-embrace their humanity, allowing the curse of immortality to fade from Cain. Maybe he wants to merely seal him away. Maybe he has plans on something else. Or maybe he doesn't actually plan on killing Cain. Maybe it's a euphemism or a smokescreen or something else. It doesn't matter, because D is capable of inspiring belief. And that's what's most important.
This is the final thing. This is what D is good at. What I love about his character. He is inspiring. That's the main thing, I think. Especially in these episodes. Do not get it twisted at all. I love what they're doing with the werewolf stuff currently. But there is also a part of me that misses this this particular vibe from him, I guess is the way of putting it.
About him, and why it's so important that he exists in a world like World of Darkness. And it's why I adore him so much. I actually believe that D is capable of all these things. I mean, he got his 99 pence blender, so out of the list I made, he's got a 33% success rate at the very least.
Yeah, he actually managed to get that too.
See?
And also use it as a great transition to get more potentially bigger revelations coming in, and I'm really looking forward to that.
That area was just fucked.
It does seem like what he's talking about now, the reason he likes it, isn't just all the reason he said, but because Big D is that force for good. He is the big good of the series. It's a little on the nose, but it fits, because that's basically the role the Emperor was in. The biggest good.
The biggest
because in 40K, he was the best because everyone else is worse. Unless you're an orc, in which case the orcs just loved everything. It was their paradise.
Wow.
But in this one, he can be more conventionally good. And while he's crazy and very much against the status quo because it felt wrong and stifling to so many of his sensibilities, he could do that. That's something I think Bruv Alphabusa could do in Hunter that he was kind of constrained on because the characters just had different approaches and, well, because the Emperor was literally constrained to the chair, actual constraints of what they could get away with.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It makes sense, though, just giving you that character to jump into a setting on, saying, here is what you focus on, and then build everyone else off of. On his own, Marcus and Kitten might have been interesting. But when played off Big D, it's so much more fascinating because it changes the nature of the narrative. Anyone else, it would be a much darker story of them confronting their ignorance with their own humanity on the line and their own moments of whimsy that are then contrasted to this horrible shit, as opposed to Big D, who has moments of this horrible shit, but he's already made the choice to confront it and fuck it in the face with his fist and maybe kill Cain, who can't be killed because fuck it, I'm doing it.
Yep, I agree.
It's over the top, but it's a level of ridiculousness that does change the entire nature of the series.
Exactly.
And that makes sense because it makes it easier to immediately jump into something brand new when you have that focal point to branch off from, which is admittedly what the Emperor did in TTS by acting as a focal point to then draw people into the world itself. A la why I'm now doing this and why I haven't recorded as many videos, because I'm painting way too many models, way too detailed in way too many ways. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing yet.
I could never get into
fun,
painting miniatures.
But it drew me in.
I tried.
The second, the 99p Landstar, it's just Poundland made into a 99-cent store. Come on.
Oh yeah. It literally, we have the exact same. We just have Poundland. It's just a Poundland. I forgot about that. I blanked on that for a second. Yeah, that's just Poundland.
Wait, those are actually things? I'm sorry, I'm not British. Those are real?
Yep, no, Poundland, completely
There's
real.
actually a 99 pence, I'm assuming, and there's a pound, so it's a dollar store and a 99-cent store.
Essentially, yes.
How come we don't have a 99-cent store in America? We got the equivalent of a...
Airier, buddy, my compadre, right, my brother in Christ. We don't use cents in the United Kingdom. That is in America, you fool. You fool.
Dollar. Granted, this would be like $1.50 land here, so admittedly still better pricing than...
Look, 99 cent. It's just taken to 99p land from Pound. Like, yeah, okay. This is this contradiction with this guy. Like he has genuinely really insightful and interesting, insight, I suppose. And then he does shit like this. Like, I don't understand how his brain works.
And those things in the dollar store that are like $7. Inflation.
Come on. At the end of the scene, when Kevin decides to tell Dee a secret about vampires, Dee chuckles. Some have considered this to be a sinister chuckle. Not me. His words prior and the kind of person that he is suggests to me that he's seen this happen 1,000 times. That he fully expected Kevin to reject him. But he didn't. It's a laugh of relief. In the contemporary age of the first quarter of the 21st century, so much media is dark and gritty, with protagonists who are also as dark and gritty as their worlds, from cyberpunk dystopias to political thrillers where the explicit belief is, if you are a decent person, you fail, or a...
I'm looking at you, George R.R. Martin.
I forgot that he made... I was literally about to say Game of Thrones. Yep, yep, that was exactly... I imagine that's what I was thinking when I made the video as well, to be honest with you. Yep, nope, same wavelength on that.
Apocalypse settings which depict humanity as squabbling loons, or what if superheroes but they're bad people, or the other mountains of pessimistic trash I witness on the daily, and I'm so tired of it. Not that it
Still am. Still very much am.
I get that too. Although I wouldn't say it's a lot of trash. Some of it, I mean, Martin is an amazing writer. Not my personal style choice, but I like what he did.
Have its place, or isn't good or valuable for its insights, because it's beyond exhausting and frankly just miserable for the sake of being miserable. It is beyond refreshing to see a character exist in such an overwhelmingly dark setting, but be a beacon of optimism even in the face of any and all common sense.
Oddly enough, the reasoning here is actually something that we've already seen play out in media before. What he's talking about is the reference between being the beacon on a hill versus everyone else who's just down on the filth and having to deal with it. This is actually a fluctuating scale of media and how some fictional aspects are made. It's not a current one. It's a very long-standing one. You could see this going back and forth from one pendulum swing to the next in how various tropes are interpreted, mixed, changed, and gone from one side to the next. An easy one to say would just be the swing in the character of Superman. When he came out, it was during the 20s and 30s, early American history.
Yeah.
Not earliest, but the previous century, maybe halfway in so far.
It came out when the Nazis were rocking about. Where
things felt like they were changing, and then the 30s hit, and everything is going weird and wrong. But Superman comes in, and he's this bright, shining beacon of this is what could be. It's great and hopeful.
Same with the recent Superman movie. That was like, what was that, like 2025? The newest, the James Gunn one. The exact same thing. That's the kind of stuff that I love. Okay, I just love that kind of stuff. This just optimistic humanity. Fuck yeah, shit's bad, but we are gonna power through it. Things might get worse before they get better, but god damn it, the human race is worth fighting for. I love that.
And good. When everything else could be horrible, there's that great thing. But then they move to the other side, the grittiness, he said. It's like, well, what if Superman was actually not super? And he was weak, and other things happen. And all the other characters who came in who are darker. But then you're still going back to that. We have characters now who are those bright, shining beacons on a hill. Because that narrative dissonance and that change between them is kind of a constant thing. And right now it's that other swing is what he's describing. So
I do think he's right with the power of hindsight. A lot of stuff has been going a bit more optimistic. I just think that that's better at like inspiring the will to create change myself. I mean, I enjoy it on its own a lot, but I do think that it's better for like inspiring people to do better. I don't think we really do ourselves too many favors by wallowing in our own misery.
A literary tangent right now, and again, I'm English major, got a
Oh, no,
master's in
I'll
this.
happily talk with him about this.
It's
gladly.
something you see in a lot of writing, how it moves between those extremes of wanting to see hope versus wanting to see the darkness. And it's kind of important to have both, because you get very bored with one or the other, because it starts feeling fake after so long. Because when everyone's doing it, they're not doing it to show the showing the item, showing the humanity, the id of what is going on. You're just copying a trend, and then the overall quality just degrades, and it loses the initial potency that those cautious steps into that new-ish setting would do. D feels like those steps away from the dark, the grim, the everything is fucked situation. Also, there's probably a correlation between the everything is fucked situation following real life hitting a everything is fucked situation. For example, 2020. You can correlate how many people did dark, depressing, post-apocalyptic worlds, and you're going to quickly see within the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, there's going to be a slow shift over to more optimistic fiction, because it feels like we've gone so far, so crazy that people want to escape it more as opposed to be forced to confront it. It's always that pendulum. And right now I think we're moving toward the other side. And Big D is a character who would emphasize that aspect.
Well, we're certainly
and
getting
yes,
there,
I realize I'm talking about literature, but in terms of fiction, in terms of media, in terms of creation of stories, it all kind of fits in the same multi-setting, multi-platform, I guess, multi-medium genre. Written, viewed, heard, music can go from dark to happy to uplifting to depressing. It has options. And this is just the general meta swing we're observing right now.
For someone who is fully aware of the horrible state of the world, but shows kindness and mercy in it, not due to being misguided or naive, but by being fully aware of it and making the conscious choice to act that way, where that decency is perhaps the weapon that will see him come out on top of all of this. Or at the very least, leave the world at large that one step closer to achieving the goals he himself falls short of. I've heard it said that a leader isn't someone who you follow just because they have a higher rank than you, or because you were told to follow them, or because you're just meant to. But someone whose actions you watch and whose words you listen to, and you realize that you believe in what they're doing and saying, and you want to see that vision come to life. A leader is...
I may have taken this line from H1 Guy's video, and that was about Optimus Prime. I might have taken, but no, I fully, 100% believe that. 100%. And that is the mark of an actual leader.
Someone who inspires you to choose to follow them. D is fascinating because he's such a walking contradiction. He's an optimistic but pragmatic, insane but highly intelligent, incredibly charismatic, and a hypocritical bad leader all rolled into one. But he is the kind of leader that makes people want to follow him. He makes me want to follow him. Within Alpha Abuser's community, this might be a controversial statement, but I'll stand by it. I don't think it's fair to call D an XP of text-to-speech's Emperor. I think D is his own character, with some similarities to be sure, but a completely unique character.
I mean, I do fall more on the spirituals.
You want to fight me on this one, Eric? You want to fight me? My friend, remember, I can actually fight you on this now. Are you sure you want to do this?
Successor side, because I don't think they're just copy and pasted. They just have a lot of elements that are very similar, intentionally so. But Big D always to me felt like he is what the Emperor could have been if the setting of 40k that Alpha Busa was working with had more leeway, or way further down the series line where things have progressed to the point where the Emperor could get up, he could act, he could change things rather than just randomly just doing things at distance through power, where he could physically get involved, where we could see him walking around in a new body. It feels like what the Emperor could have transitioned into without all the steps being observed.
I mean,
that's at least how it felt to me. So still a spiritual successor, but more the vision of what Alpha Busa wanted to get to with the character, but wasn't able to. maybe it would go this way, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it was a dream that would never be in the show, but would be a fun thought experiment. That's what Big D feels like. It's a what if, the spiritual successor. And it's kind of how I felt about him in general. But I also would apply that to everyone. So he's still based on the Emperor heavily rather than a completely unique character.
I keep having
He's
mixed
more
thoughts on that.
so far advanced that he feels unique, but he has so much similarities. Again, spiritual successor is why I call him that, and this is part of why.
And one I think is almost superior to the Emperor in nearly every way.
That I'll defend.
Except in sarcastic
Absolutely.
dunks. On that
Yes.
one, the Emperor batters D into
Yeah,
the
he is way
stratosphere.
funnier.
Anyway, I've been rambling aimlessly for way too long, and considering how long it takes me to get anything done,
Will reconvene in 84 years.
cheers, Amps.
Oh, that is alarmingly accurate, isn't it? Oh, I want to hear that one again. Sorry, I want to hear that. That has
Superior
not
to the
changed in the
Emperor
slightest.
in nearly every
That
way.
has not changed
Except
at
in
all.
sarcastic dunks. On
Yes.
that one, the Emperor batters D into
Yeah,
the
he is way
stratosphere.
funnier.
Anyway, I've been rambling aimlessly for way too long, and considering how long it takes me to get anything done,
Will reconvene in 84 years.
cheers, Amps.
So I'm just going to throw it out there. If you haven't already, go.
Well, if you can't laugh at yourself. Fantastic. Oh, God. Past me really did have a good... Damn, I'm good is all I can say to that. Damn, I'm good.
Subscribe to Cosmic Void. That was a really
It's not me saying it. It's not me saying it. It's him. It's him. He's doing it.
good dive into the psychology of the character and how he's portrayed and how they equal up, but also giving you so much fundamental information about the various settings that inspired and shaped how that character could be interpreted to start with. And I love this. I love these deep dives into fiction. And the fact that someone's doing this with YouTube whole created content is freaking awesome.
Why,
I thought I'd get
thank
into
you.
a part of this, maybe check it out later. I'm so fascinated with this. I did the entire damn video in one go, and I do not regret this. This is fascinating, and I'm going to probably just go binge his other videos because I can. Also because I have no way I'm ever going
wonder
to
if he did do that.
resist temptation to record a video reacting to it, because maybe I will, maybe I won't, but when I find something super fascinating.
He's never said if he's done that. Airier, did you do that? Did you binge the other video? What did I even have? I'm pretty sure I had Did I do the zero punctuation video before or after the? Ooh, excuse me. I don't actually recall.
I often just binge it without realizing it, and it's like, well, crap. It's happened more than once. There's a lot of videos that I've done or wanted to do and then didn't because I just watched them on my own time. It's a problem. I'm probably going to keep doing it anyways. Yeah. Otherwise, I thought this would scratch the itch for more Hunter the Parenting, and it did. Unfortunately, it then ripped open all those scars and it's like, hey, remember how you still want more? You still want more.
Prepared to suffer.
That said, I can go watch the old ones now, and I'm going to go do that because binge watching, yeah. You guys know the deal, though. Link below video. Hit it up. Subscribe.
Okay, this was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this. Honest to God, I think that my video holds up fairly well, all things considered. A couple of mistakes I wouldn't make these days, I don't think, but overall, I think that it was. I'm happy with it at least, and that's really the main thing, I suppose. Airier's reaction, a lot of fun. Very happy that he ended up doing that. Definitely some insights with it as well that I just kind of overlooked or maybe forgot about. I'm happy with how things have worked out. I'm very happy with how it's gone. Yeah, I don't think that there's really any point of me doing an ending section to any of this. I think that we've covered pretty much everything, everything I can think of at any rate. So, thank you all for watching. How do I want to do an outro? Yeah, I don't know. Bye.